And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internet, all over mainstream media, social media, and I don't know where to start. First of all, a little bit of breaking news. Joe Biden has COVID. How convenient. Hey, how convenient. Wait a minute. How convenient. Just 3 days after they tried to delete the president, the 1,000-year-old president has COVID. How convenient is that? Wow. I wonder what could happen to an obviously elderly and disabled man who has COVID. You know what? I don't want to say that. Hold on. Let me go back. Trump's going to come back. Well, Trump is already back at the RNC. He made a triumphant entrance. We'll talk about Trump and the RNC and a lot more, a little bit later. Also, JD Vance has become vice president, or at least the VP pick for President Trump, Trump's running mate. Is it a good pick, bad pick? We'll talk about that a little bit later. Also, the DEI Secret Service. What's going on? We got 5'2" cafeteria ladies in there. What's really happening? We're going to talk about all that and a whole lot more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing thus far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Shout out to you guys for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. Also, this is an audio streaming podcast. It'll be on your favorite audio streaming platforms, whether it be Spotify, Google Play, Apple, iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I should pop right on up. We got a lot to get into today. Oh my goodness. Biden got the bug. Really? Come on, like, before we even get into everything that we got to talk about, come on, really? So Saturday, what was that? Okay, Saturday, July 13th, they shoot at the president. Wednesday, July 17th, the 1,000-year-old president gets COVID. Then they're playing clips talking about, oh, well, I'm only going to leave if I have a serious medical issue. They're doing internal polls in the Democrat Party talking about, well, hey, who would face better against Trump? Would it be Biden or Kamala Harris? I mean, and the media is just now talking about how bad Biden is and his mental decline and cognitive function and all that kind of good stuff, giving him the Mr. Burns and the Simpsons comparison with the hands looking like little T-Rexes in front of him, right? They doing all that right now. It seems like, okay, we missed the target. I don't know who we is. I don't know who they is. I don't know nothing. Okay, I'm just a guy on the internet in this house talking. So pardon me. Don't take what I say. Look, what I say is meaningless. What I say is just entertainment. Okay, it's total gibberish. I don't know nothing. I'm just asking questions. But they couldn't get them the first time, or they couldn't get that one on Saturday. So, all right, let's get the other one and get him out of the way, because we can't have him step down. That'll make us look weak. That'll send the country into kind of a tailspin. So let's do the compassionate approach. He was surrounded by family and he passed away peacefully. And then they could use sympathy to get in somebody to come help with the situation. They might even try to finagle that to get Gavin Newsom in there, which would be brilliant. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, we're going to talk about that later. I'm getting way ahead of myself, but that one, that's just crazy. I mean, COVID for real, right after they tried to delete the former president. You can't, I promise. Listen, but I told you guys, so I can't be too surprised here. I told you guys before all this happened, before this cycle, I told you guys that this summer would be crazy. I told y'all. Like, I've said it, and I've said it multiple times. And here we are. This man got COVID and might not make it. I'm not saying I hope he doesn't make it. to my FBI agent out there. Shout out to you for watching. And you might as well be subscribed. Hey, FBI agent, go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified whenever I go live, post a new video. Also, become a member. Why not? You don't got to use your real name. I ain't going to know. We're not going to be able to figure out who you are. So, yeah, shout out to the IRS agents out there. Oh, they most certainly do exist. I was talking today about a particular thing. Matter of fact, I kind of want to show that right quick. We're going to get to a lot. We're going to get to Trump at the RNC. Well, he's not spoken yet, but he made an appearance. We're going to get to quite a few leftist reactions. Destiny. Y'all know Destiny. I debated him some years ago. People still come up to me about that debate. That was 2018, 6 years ago. He said some crazy stuff, went on Piers Morgan and kind of doubled down. But can I show you guys something right quick? Okay. Now, you know what they're having a bunch of these different people in Nashville. And it's weird because, okay, these guys have black flags with swastikas. One of these dudes is wearing a cowboy hat and some boots. They have no masks on their face. Some do, some don't. But listen, they had another group down here. What was it? The Patriot Front. They've had different groups down here. Can I explain to you what I think the strategy is? The strategy is have these goofballs who are clearly federal agents go down to a place like Nashville to scare regular people because you're in a blue place. And if you have blue friends, but you're conservative, you might be influenced by actions like this. Oh, well, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm kind of purple. My husband is a Democrat. I'm kind of feeling like I should vote for him. I don't like what's happening to this country. I see it every day right there on Broadway in Nashville, right in front of police who are doing nothing. Understand what you're being shown here. These are not real people. Listen, racists do exist. White supremacists do exist. Racism exists. White supremacist organizations do exist in this country. But you know what they don't do? They don't do press conferences on television. They're not out there showing their face and doing marches in Nashville on Broadway. That's not what happens. That would be, in my opinion, the equivalent of seeing the Mexican mafia just out in the streets marching, or the cartel out there marching. No, they don't do that. They don't do that. Same thing with the mob, which is also a white gang, by the way. They're not just going to be out here parading around, drawing attention to themselves. Hey, I'm a white supremacist, and I'm a violent person, and I have a swastika, and I intend to kill black people. Hey, feds, don't look at me. I'm not a person of interest. You might as well put a big target on your forehead that says, FBI, please come arrest me. I got guns. I got drugs in my car, and I have no license. Come arrest me. Put that on your license plate. Have drugs. HVDRGS. Have drugs on license plate. Have that right there. That's the equivalent of being the white supremacist in public. Okay, it's just that simple. So whenever you see this, understand what it is. It's like the whole, and really, you know, the greatest way to prove what I'm saying is from, I guess you would say, a case study. I'm no lawyer, so if I'm not saying that properly, y'all forgive me. The case study was the whole Gretchen Whitmer kerfuffle. What was it like? 22 people involved, and 18 of the 22 or 20 to the 22 were federal agents or federal informants. I mean, basically, it was a bunch of feds operating, and they weren't even out there publicly. This was something on the low. Okay, it was supposed to be a secret plot. These guys are out in the public. So if the secret people are infiltrated by the feds, you think people outside showing their face are also not infiltrated by the feds? Remember a few years ago, some of you guys may remember, I covered a story about, I believe it was Tim Cook. It might have been Tim Cook. I don't think Steve Jobs was dead at this moment. I think it was Tim Cook. So Tim Cook, the CEO, executive, big boss over at Apple, refused to let the government he refused to let the government have backdoor access through encryption on iPhones. Remember that? Because that was the thing. Some people had been deleted, and the government wanted access to their phones to be able to research. But Apple was like, no, we're not going to do that because that's going to pose a security risk to our consumers. We don't want that to happen. But now, fast forward a few years later, they have devices that could crack your phone. It don't matter. Look, you got your retina scan, your fingerprint, passcode. They have devices that could crack your phone. They put it on there. I don't know how they do it. Look, I'm not a hacker. I don't know what's going on, but they got devices that could crack your phone all day long. And the point behind me saying that is, you think the feds don't know what's going on? If you're trying to be in a white supremacist organization, think again, especially if they're going to be out there in the public. Okay. And you know what? This is why that knowledge I know right there, combined with the case study of Gretchen Whitmer, that's why I know when they say stuff like, hey, we found cocaine in the White House and we don't know who it belongs to. All right. We found it right there, but we don't know whose it is. Okay. You're probably in the most secure place in the world, and the bag of cocaine makes its way on the campus and doesn't nobody know nothing. Okay. Cool. And also, a few more things, but that one, I'm just like, come on, man. And of course, the main thing being the whole sniper incident. You can crack into my phone, go through all the security. You could crack encryption, maybe even not encryption, but you can get into my phone. You can read my emails. You can listen to my phone calls. You can set up a device to X-ray on the inside of my home, see through walls. But you don't know where the cocaine came from, and you couldn't get on a slopey roof to deter the actual shooter. Okay, now before I get to the slopey roof and all that good stuff, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for joining. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Shout out to the sponsors, of course, you guys for watching, retweeting, super chatting. Could not do the show without you. But also shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will be in the description. Also, go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN. Go to the front page of the website, and you'll be able to find articles for each video that I produce. And in the articles, I have sources from the left, from the right, from the center, from the politically agnostic to the conservative, liberal, whatever you want, local, national, international. It'll all be right there on the front page of the website in the individual articles, anthonyblogan.com. Also, go to the contact page, anthonyblogan.com/contact, to find my email address, my email address, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, never going to call it X. All those links are right there on the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com. And as I always say, if you're ever wondering if you're speaking to me or not, just cross-reference the method of communication. My email is real easy, contact@anthonyblogan.com. It's also right there on the contact page. If that email's not emailing you and it's some random 897-digit WhatsApp number, okay, and you get the guy on the phone, you sound like this. You sound like this. It's not the ABL voice. It's a different voice, okay? It's yours. Don't be fooled by the voice. What are you going to say? I'm ABL. How are you? Give me the credit card number right now. That's not me. I promise it's not. I don't talk like that. You're not going to get an African ABL off the internet, nor would you get some Eastern European dude living on IV borscht supplements. I'm not that kind of guy. I don't weigh 1 million pounds in the bottom of some old block, some Soviet block on the bottom in the basement covered up by pipes and muck. I'm not that guy. I'm over here in the USA. I sound like this. I'm never going to sell you on the get rich quick scheme. So please don't be scammed by these people. Nobody has time for that in the year of our Lord 2024. All right. But shout out to you guys. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay. We got a lot going on. If you thought your day was bad, or you may have had a bad day, I can almost guarantee you that your day was not as bad as this young lady right here. Okay, you're coming out to sing for the Home Run Derby. You're singing the national anthem. Now listen, I don't like when people play with the national anthem. Okay? I take it as disrespect. If you're going to sing our anthem, let's just do it properly. Do it properly. Don't do what she did.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed by the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
Okay, y'all heard enough. I ain't gonna torture you with the last few bars of the anthem. But okay, the young lady, Ingrid Andress, a 4-time Grammy nominee. You see it right there on the screen. This was before the Home Run Derby, Major League Baseball. A 4-time Grammy nominee. Now, you guys are saying it in the chat. She was drunk, according to her. She said she came to the event drunk, and she checked herself into rehab. Imagine singing the national anthem so bad, you admit your alcoholism over it. Like, hey, that was so bad. It was so embarrassing. Look, I got to go to rehab over that one. So, yeah, shout out to her. Yeah, drugs are bad. Drinking can be bad. You drink too much, you become an alcoholic. Don't nobody got time for that, man. And we're not trying to have you sing the national anthem until you get it together. Okay, yes, 4 Grammy nominations. She didn't win anything, but she was nominated. So to be nominated, you got to be some kind of way musically talented, I suppose. But maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Tara Bates says, is she going to learn to sing while in rehab? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And you know, Byron S says, my dog is howling. Hilarious. That's funny. She didn't trigger your dog to start howling. That's a mess. But you know what? I don't think I'm really buying the whole I'm drunk excuse, because we've seen plenty alcoholic singers get up there and tear it to pieces. We've seen that before. We've seen these singers get on stage high on everything and still put on a performance. So if you cannot perform under duress, then I don't know. Maybe you just built for the studio with auto-tune and all these kind of advanced processing and things of this nature. Now, I'll tell you who is ready for the spotlight, who is ready for the camera. My man right here at the RNC. Okay. Do we have sound on this one? Okay, I'm going to turn the sound down a little bit because it's a little loud on my ear. RIP to the headphone users. Now, look at my man in the back with the hat.
Campaign new and win, because I have talked to a number of people who have been on the ground with the former president in recent days.
So if you can't see what my man's shirt says because you're listening to the audio, my man has, cowboy type outfit, blue jeans, button down shirt, cowboy hat, sombrero, and under his button down shirt, he has a white t-shirt and it says, where is the Jeffrey Epstein client list? And he is showing this shirt behind the commentator who's live on CNN. So they were showing it live on CNN from the RNC on television.
Days and weeks, who had no idea. Now, one thing to remember is that Donald Trump has a very tight-knit security team. He has been with the same detail for years. He is very close to the campaign, new and
so yeah, shout out to the Jaws music. The Jaws music was perfect every time he popped up. But it's a good question. That's a great question. Where is the Jeffrey Epstein client list? That's a great question. Now, somebody asked me in the chat, it kind of caught my eye. Michael says, ABL, can you say a few words about the Project 2025 propaganda? Well, I did make a video about it specifically, but I can give you just a couple words right here. It's nonsense. And the way you can expose people for bringing it up is okay, you don't like Project 2025. What do you not like about it? What are some of the policies in there you don't like? If you ask that question, they're not going to have anything for you because all they know is to be scared of the word. They've been programmed that easily. It's easy to program some people. They've been programmed that quickly to be afraid of that phrase, Project 2025. Whenever they hear it, they're going to think racist, white supremacist. I'm going to go back to slavery, all this, that, and the third. Listen, if the people that they want to get in power, these communist Marxists, if they get into power, you're going to beg for slavery. Slavery will be better than what you will experience under a communist Marxist type of situation if they go full all the way with it, rather than the soft version we're doing right now, rather than soft socialism. If we go all the way with it, you're going to beg for slavery. You're going to beg to go back outside. But anyway, now, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this animation shows just how close Trump was to a catastrophe happening. It was very, very close. Now, I'm going to show you this. So on the left-hand side, I'm kind of covering it up, but that's Trump when he was speaking. So I guess they mapped his face, and they were able to recreate his face from this portion, from this angle of it. And then from the bullet's trajectory, how it hit him, they were able to show that he turned his head just in time. Watch this.
Take a look what happened.
That quick. See, look. So right here, just 1 second. 1 second was the difference. Maybe 2 seconds. So right here, as he turns, this is right at 3 seconds. And when the bullet actually comes past his head, that is 4 seconds. And you see how close the bullet was to actually hitting him. You see how close. I mean, listen, y'all know me. I'm not a very religious person. I do believe in God, though, just to be clear. I'm not an atheist. I just don't believe in organized religion. I got really deep feelings about that I really want to get into right now. But I do believe in God, and this one, nothing but God. It was a miracle. What are the odds of that happening? Even if you're a pure atheist and you just want to believe in numbers, statistics, that's fine. Tell me the odds of that happening. When, again, 1 second before, look, if he didn't move his head, the bullet would have hit him right in his forehead. But he turned ever so slightly. I'm going to play it one more time in real time.
Take a look what happened.
And also, it was faster than that because they're playing it kind of in slow motion. So it was a blink of an eye. It was instantaneous. As soon as he turned, the bullet went past him. Like it was one motion, him turning and the bullet passing. So yeah, shout out to Trump. And then of course there was more. And then he, went ahead and got down. And I was surprised when I was looking at that footage of the crowd behind him, how they were just standing up. It's like if there's any kind of, you think it's some bullets flying, you hear gunshots and people are panicking, you need to get low, make yourself small. You want to just be standing up like a big old target. Get small, get low. Trump was able to get some of that Queens, Jamaica, Queens, New York City street smarts in there. Okay, little bit of that street smarts. He ain't just a nepo baby. He got a little street smarts, a little bit of common sense. Really, get on the ground. People I was seeing standing up, it's like, what are y'all doing? Please get on the floor. Get on the floor because you don't know. It could be more shooters. He could be still up there. He might not be done. So y'all, please don't like, oh, what's going on here with your phone? Oh, what's happening? Is it a shooting? Get on the ground, please. Because your Facebook video won't make a difference if you get shot while trying to take it. All right. Now, somebody says, can I find information on where the shooter's car was parked? I've seen reports it was 10 miles away. It seems ridiculous, but all other reports I find say somewhere outside Raleigh. I've not seen anything about that. But if I do find it, I'll definitely bring that to you guys' attention. But I don't know. I haven't seen anything about it. What I do know is that the guy was on the roof. The guy was on the roof for a while and people saw him. Imagine you're a regular normie at the event. You're like, hey, Secret Service, police, it's a guy right there on the roof with a rangefinder and a rifle. Y'all want to do something? No, oh, okay, all right. It was crazy, man. You had people taking cell phone pictures. Like, a civilian is surveilling it. How is a civilian able to surveil this area better than Secret Service? Look, they were inside the actual building. So they say. They were inside the building. And the whole point was to secure the building from the inside, secure the roof from the inside. I'm like, what? It doesn't make any sense. Oh, the roof was slopey, all this, that, and the third. Hold on, before I get to that, we got a little bit of, Trump, of course, listen. Remember I was telling you guys about how the whole world was watching this? It ain't just what's going on right here in America. Oh, no. What's happening right here in America goes all over the world, everywhere, every culture, every language, everywhere. The United States is the center of the world, really. All other nations are impacted in some kind of way by the USA, whether for better or for worse. It is what it is. Now we have an anime reproduction of the whole situation and how he was saved, how the bullet didn't hurt him. Check it out. Sorry for the Japanese, but you just got to watch it. Listen, the whole world. I don't have any other words. It ain't nothing but a God intervention, because this right here is the day will live on in infamy. The whole world saw it. The whole world saw him get shot and not die. The bullet barely missed him. I mean, I don't even know what to say. So yeah, shout out to the Japanese. This is like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Shout out. That's one of the best anime series I've ever seen. I'm not even really a big anime guy, but I got recommended the anime one day. It's like, hey, just watch that, and I think you'll like it. And I watched it. I was hooked. So yeah. R.I.P. to Shinzo Abe. Hey, R.I.P. Yeah, that's something else, because they had their ex-president actually get assassinated on the street in Japan with a homemade gun or something crazy like that. It was a mess. All right. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. Before we get into the crazy reactions from leftists, I want to get into a little bit of news coverage about the whole situation, some interviews, and a few more things. Now, this is the guy, Thomas Matthew Crooks, 20 years old, Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, registered Republican. Now, he donated $15 to Progressive Turnout Project in 2021, which is a liberal organization. A lot of normies are talking about, oh, he was a Republican. That means nothing. Being registered as a Republican means nothing. All that means is you're able to vote in that primary in your state. And not all states even do that. Where I live, you just register to vote. You don't put a party down. That's not part of the process. It was the same way back in Virginia. But in California, for example, maybe Pennsylvania, you register as a particular party. So come primary time, since you have that on your thing, as a Republican, you can vote in a Republican primary. Now, why would somebody who's a Democrat want to vote in a Republican primary? Well, you wouldn't vote for somebody else other than Trump, so he doesn't get the nomination from your state. That's the plan. Now, obviously, that doesn't really work too well. So, but people try to do it still. So just being a Republican on paper means nothing. He has never voted. He's not voted before. He gave money to a progressive organization, and anybody can say I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm independent, or not even on the rolls.
A little bit of what he told us about what he knew about the suspect.
He was bullied almost every day.
In what way? Can you?
Now, there's gonna be you got some interviews from people that kind of knew him or knew of him. This guy's gonna say one thing, and a different guy's gonna say something else. Well, he's gonna say one thing, but the other guy will add context. I'm not gonna say they're gonna be too much different. The other guy's gonna add context.
Can you explain?
I mean, he would sit alone at lunch. I mean, he was just an outcast, and you know how kids are nowadays, so they're gonna see someone like that and they're gonna target him because they think it's funny or whatever. So it's the best way I can describe it. And it's honestly kind of sad. Like, I don't want to say this is what provoked it, but you never know.
Yeah. You said he was a loner?
Yeah. I want to say he was a loner more because he was quiet, but like he was just bullied. Like he was bullied so much.
This was high school.
Yeah.
What did they, do you remember at all what they said to him or called him?
No. He was just made fun of, I guess, for the way he dressed or his appearance.
Okay, so you hear that from my man right here about the shooter, Thomas. All right, so that's what he says. Now, we have another interview with somebody that knew of him. And then we're going to get to the interview with one man in the red hair if you haven't seen that one yet. Now, this guy went to school with him. He was a classmate of his, of Thomas.
Thomas was a quiet kid unless there was something that he was passionate about, politics being one of them. He just did not like politicians, especially with the choices that we've had. He did not like our politicians. It was especially during 2016. It was Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, all of them. He showed that he disliked all of them. Did not like any of them. So I brought up the fact that I'm Hispanic and, you know, I'm for Trump. And he said, well, you're Hispanic, so shouldn't you hate Trump? And I was like, no, he's great. You know what I mean? Like, he's a great president. And he's, you know, he...
So let's pause right there. So if the guy, the shooter, a so-called Republican, is saying, hey, why are you voting Trump? That's dumb. What does him being Republican got to do with anything? It has nothing to do with nothing. I mean, it's just something that's on paper. And people, I don't know, they don't really understand a lot. They think you are a Republican. I'm not a Republican. I'm not, like, what does that really mean? That you are a Republican? I'm not an elected official. So how could that be part of a party that I'm not? It doesn't make any sense. I'm just me at the end of the day. Now, if I get elected, all this and that, now that's something different. But I digress.
He called me stupid or insinuated that I was stupid. He's like, well, that's kind of stupid. If he was a know-it-all. So, like, once again, if he was passionate about something, he would just talk, and acted like he knew everything, especially politics related. And he would say it in a tone that was like, I'm better than you, in a type of way. And, you know, meanwhile, it's like, dude, we're in the same classes. You know what I mean? We're talking about the same stuff here. And whenever it comes to politics, I mean, at the end of the day, I can agree, you can disagree, I can disagree. We're not even nothing about it. Like, at that point, it doesn't matter. At that point, it's, you know what I mean? We're just starting to figure out who we like and all. But, yeah, he was real smug and arrogant whenever he was talking. And whether that was his way to try to make friends or be funny, I don't know. But it got under my skin a lot.
So people are just not, they don't like the guy. The guy just know it all, you know, and he's saying, well, the guy didn't really get bullied that much. He had friends, but they were kind of an outcast group. They made threats toward the school to shoot it. They were that kind of group, you know. So this whole thing about, oh, he was bullied, all this and that. I mean, maybe people just didn't like him and he got into fights. Maybe he might have provoked some fights. It's not always just a one-way thing. Sometimes it can be, but it's not always that way. Just because somebody keep getting into trouble and they may look weak does not mean it didn't provoke anything. Okay, that can happen sometimes. Like, I don't know, a provocation might be making threats toward the school to shoot it up, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, this guy, all the signs were there. had issues, he was just not really, the sympathy card can never be played with a guy like that. All right. People talking about crisis actors. I mean, come on, man. We got to stop. We got to stop. I don't know. I think we got to stop with that.
And watch,
because it's like everything is always fake, but sometimes things are real, and we got to be able to tell between fantasy and reality a little bit. What we can say is obviously that the president got shot at, and the guy who did it, we know who did it. We saw his picture. We saw his face. But if you guys have not seen this one, I think I played this right when the whole thing happened on Saturday. But this man was one of many who saw the guy get on the roof and get himself nice and cozied up to take the kill shot on the president. Watch this.
And listen to the rally, right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, But we noticed the guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service.
We were telling the police. We were pointing at him for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Did you see, obviously.
Now, one thing about it, they were trying to say that the slopey roof, that's been the excuse, the slopey roof. But all you had to do was just put somebody over there on that side of the roof. If the roof is a pitch a little bit, and you might be on one side, and since you have to pitch, you can't see on the other side because it's not a direct thing. It's kind of like a hill in between you. Well, just put somebody on the other side. Regular civilians had their phones out and were able to take videos of this man getting comfy in this sniper's nest before he shot the president. If civilians can see him, why can't you see him? There's no excuse for a blind spot. People can see him. It's the daytime. It's not a cloud in the sky. It's sunny. They saw him right there. Like, people were seeing him and pointing at him. The other snipers, the counter snipers, saw that guy as well and waited. What are they waiting for? Wait for him to shoot. So the team is on the other roof. The Secret Service counter snipers are on the other roof, right next to Trump. They spotted the guy. They saw him before. He was up on the roof for a while. Okay. And then right when the guy shoots, they immediately shoot him. If you shot him after he shot, why couldn't you have shot him before he shot if you already saw him? And if you didn't already see him, how did you shoot him immediately? You already knew what was going on. So to me, I don't know. I'm not going to say that it was a setup, but I don't know what happened. I don't know nothing. I'm just talking here. Now we got another video. Local police official describes police confrontation of Trump rally shooter. Because, okay, so the guy got on the roof, and after he got on the roof, a local cop approached him, but the guy, the shooter, pointed a rifle at the cop, and the cop fell, because he tried to make an evasive maneuver, but he fell on the roof or off the roof. I don't know what happened. It was crazy. They had it was a ladder from where the guy was able to climb on a ladder and get on top of the roof. maybe if you have the president speaking and there's this one big building in town that somebody want to climb on and try to shoot at Trump, maybe just check to make sure that nobody gets a ladder and climbs on the roof and y'all were inside the building. How do you not see a guy get a ladder, get on top of the roof, get cozy with a rangefinder, a rangefinder, and he's making himself get ready for the shot? How do you just not see all of that? Local police, Secret Service, counter snipers, drones in the sky, helicopters in the sky. I don't get it. But let's hear from a local officer.
Did in fact see an individual on the roof with a weapon.
He saw the shooter.
He did.
Your officers are on patrol. They hear that there is a suspicious person on the rooftop. What did your officers do?
So our officers in the area started to converge on the building. My understanding is they did a full perimeter walk of the building. Weren't able to see up on the roof. Two of the officers went to what appeared to be the lowest point from ground to roof. One of the officers actually boosted the second officer up high enough for him to grab hold of the roof. When he was able to pull his head up over the roof, he did in fact see an individual on the roof with a weapon.
He saw the shooter.
He did.
And what did the shooter do?
Turned towards him, had the barrel of his weapon pointed at the officer.
Now look, I understand you might have slipped, you might have just fell, slipped, whatever. Although I kind of find it hard to believe because right after the shooter got deleted, it was a bunch of cops on top of the roof looking at him, but they didn't seem to be slipping and sliding. But anyway, I digress. If you're going to go on top of the roof because you think you saw somebody that may have a weapon and may want to shoot the president, maybe your gun should be out, like right in front of you. So as soon as you see that rifle, you hit it immediately. As soon as you see that rifle on top of the building, you got to go ahead and get him. Get him right there. Even if he don't see you first. If you come up on the guy on top of the roof and he's laying there with a rifle like this at the president, you have to hit him immediately. If he hears you approach him and he flings around with the rifle and points it at you, your gun should already be going off at that point. As soon as he makes that, you get up on the roof, you see what's going on, you got to just go ahead and dump your magazine immediately. Hey, look, man, and if they ask you what happened, I was protecting the president because he had a rifle on top of the roof and you were trying to shoot him.
At that point, the officer's hanging on
Yes.
to the side of the roof?
Yes.
Unable to pull a gun out?
Unable to
Defend himself? Unable to reach his radio?
Any of that. Yeah. Strictly defensive movement for him to lower his head, duck, lost his own grip, right? Fell approximately 8 feet to the ground.
That's a steep drop.
So he fell off the roof. So when he fell off the roof, what happened next?
It's a good drop, yes.
Did he get hurt?
He did.
In that moment, did they realize there's a threat right now to the former president?
They did. So both the boosting officer and the officer that fell were both on the radio, indicating that there was an individual on the roof that did in fact have a weapon.
Who did they radio?
So there was a blanket tactical channel being used.
Everyone heard it.
Everyone that was on that tactical channel heard it, yes.
How much time between that radio communication and the gun being fired at the former president?
That I don't have that information.
That's a really good question because, okay, when the radio call happens, everybody should know this guy's on top of the roof with the gun. Everybody should know that. So how long in between that moment and the shooting, how long was that moment, that period of time?
Information.
Wow. I mean, the Secret Service got exposed or this was calculated. Somebody tried to do something on purpose. But so, okay, here's the slopes we're talking about, right? Now, this is the slope of the roof where the shooter was. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 officers on top of the roof after he's dead, and nobody seems to be falling or slipping or sliding or anything like that. It seems to be okay, all right? It seems to be perfectly fine. Now, here is the slope of the roof where the counter snipers were from Secret Service. So that roof and that slope has a higher pitch, a steeper slope, but somehow this one, you didn't want to put anybody on there because it was a slope roof. Make it make sense. If you can't go on top of this one because it's sloped, then why are you up here on a steeper slope? Because that's what she said, right? The Secret Service director, what's her name? I don't know. Angelica, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The lady. Kimberly something. It doesn't make any sense. All right? It just doesn't. Now, I do have more videos of the whole situation. Hold on. I got more videos, but also I got to show you guys the White House slope. So here is the White House and the very slope roof, the slope roof in the very front, right? Agents right there with a pair of binoculars, chilling, like ain't nothing wrong. So you could put agents on slope roofs you could put agents on, look, that's an even steeper slope, a higher pitch at the White House. So you can have Secret Service on top of there and it's fine. You can have them on slightly less steep slopes with a lower pitch. But the absolute the shortest slope, that's a problem. I don't get it. I don't understand. So when they tell me certain things, I'm just scratching my head like, what? Why would you say something like that? It doesn't make any sense. Now, can I find the slope comment? Y'all give me a second. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That will help me out tremendously. Okay, where we at here? And I think we are. All right, there we go. Perfect.
Should that roof have been?
So you're speaking to the Secret Service director who was appointed in 2022 by the Biden administration, Kimberly Cheatle. That's her name, Kimberly Cheatle. She was previously on Secret Service 27 years. I'm not quite sure. She was an agent out there in the field, what she was doing. But after that, she was at PepsiCo, I believe. And then she came to Secret Service in 2022 at the behest of Jill Biden and the Biden administration. Check this out.
Should that roof have been secure, period?
That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, there's a safety factor that would be considered there, that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof. And so, the decision was made to secure the building from inside.
Should that roof have been secure, period?
That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, there's a safety factor that would be considered there, that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof. And so, the decision was made to secure the building from inside.
I mean, and the crazy part is you couldn't even, okay, so you have a whole team inside the building and nobody saw this guy get a ladder, get on top of the building, get himself situated. Nobody heard the officers up scuffling up with him up there. So what are we doing in the building? We're playing video games, we're on our phone. What are we doing in the building? You have one job, literally one job, protect the president, secure the building, and you failed. You've absolutely failed. Did you fail on purpose or was it just incompetence? Y'all let me know what you think. Was it on purpose or was it incompetence? That is my question. Oh, and speaking about slopes and whatnot, before we get to some media reaction, here we have some cows on a sloped roof. It's even steeper than what they had Secret Service on and what the shooter was on. So if a whole cow, a moo cow, right, a beef burger, bacon cow can get on the roof that's sloped and he's pretty much chilling, then why can't we get on top of there? Especially when we saw the agents on the roof after the guy got deleted. Look, they will tell you anything and expect you to believe it. Yeah, we couldn't get on top of the roof because it was too sloped. It's too dangerous. But we got on there later after the guy got deleted. Okay, great. The dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. All right. So let's keep on rocking and rolling. We got quite a bit to get into. We got some media reaction. We got some normies acting the fool. We got a little bit of everything. Okay. We have a little bit of everything. Where do I want to begin? Okay. I think what I'm going to do, I could start right here. Oh, this is Eric Trump, not Eric Trump, pardon me. It's Eric Trump and Trump Jr., but Trump Jr. speaking to MSNBC at the RNC. This was a great moment, by the way. Check this out. And
policies like separating 5,000 children deliberately from their parents. You mean the Obama administration? You know they didn't do that, sir. Okay. Sure.
So if you missed the first part, he was asking about policy, about the separating the children from their parents on the border. And then Trump Jr. said, well, that was happening under Obama. And then the guy, MSNBC, is like, oh, no, sir, no, you know, it didn't happen. Yes, it did. We got pictures, evidence, video, testimony, everything. We have it. Okay. If you get locked up for a crime in this country, you don't go with your mama and daddy, you go by yourself. And you might get a cellie named Fleece Johnson, which would be terrifying. But anyway.
Will there be a second family separation policy?
It's MSDNC, so I expect nothing less from you clowns. Even today, even 48 hours later, you couldn't wait. You couldn't wait with your lies and with your nonsense. So just get out of here.
And he did get out of here. Hilarious. Just get out of here. Very well said, Trump Jr. Very well said. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to him. The media, I think we're pretty much done with it. We really are. All right. So let's keep on going here.
The view is that Trump and the MAGA Republican agenda is a threat to democracy. So how do you get that message across while bringing the temperature down? How is that phrasing going to be replaced?
How can you say that the Trump MAGA Republicans are a threat to democracy when it was not the Trump MAGA Republicans who tried to assassinate a president on camera at a rally? Okay. How can you say that? The guy, the shooter, was described as kind of hating all politicians, hating the entire system, being kind of a doomer, a black pill guy. One of them. That's how he was described, not as a liberal or a conservative. Somebody who hated politicians. All right. And the kind of guy that would shoot a school up. Just a general nuisance of a person and a cancer upon society. That's who Michael Thomas Crooks was.
Is it going to be replaced?
Well, look, what I can say is this. We have our differences, and it's okay to have our differences. And it is okay to speak to someone's record, to speak to someone's character. That is the difference of, that is important to be able to do, to show, right, what the American people, what you're all about. We're just going to continue to denounce violence. It is important to do that, forcefully be against violence. Political violence has no place in America. It should not be. It does not have a place here. The president's going to continue to be very, very forceful about that. But we have a difference of agenda. That is the truth.
So look, you know what I predict? Here's my prediction. If they were smart, I'll give them too many ideas, but I think it's already been decided. The Democrats are going to stop saying MAGA Republicans to describe us because their objective was to make us be scary. How can we be scary when the so-called leader of the MAGA Republicans got shot by a guy who clearly didn't like him? Who's the threat? No quote-unquote MAGA Republican is trying to hurt Joe Biden. We don't do that. Y'all do that on the left. Not us. The last president to get shot was Ronald Reagan, another conservative president. So your little word games are going to kind of fall upon deaf ears because we're like, well, look, wait a minute now. It's not us that's doing the shooting and looting and carrying on. It's y'all. And here's the evidence right here. Okay. You guys want to put these bozos, Patriot Front with black swastikas and neatly written merchandise and signs. You want to put them out there in Nashville to scare normies in kind of a red, blue place in an essential state. But we know what's going on. We know that if you put these white guys out there with swastikas, they're going to be federal agents. We know that for 100% certain. Ain't no more KKK walking around your town with a cross burning. That's fear mongering. Those days are long gone. Especially not Nashville, a tourist place. Are you dumb? You know how much money comes from Nashville and the tourism? We're not going to mess that. Like, it's just, it's just dumb. It's really dumb. These people are dumb and they think that you're dumb. I don't think so. I do not think so. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, so this guy, I gotta show this guy, unfortunately. This dude, Destiny, y'all know what that is, right? I debated him some years back. I debated him a few years back. This is 2018 when we had our debate. Destiny, let me tell you something about him. I'm gonna play this clip and then I'm gonna tell you about this guy. All right, let's just watch this.
Fuck it. Fuck the dude, the firefighter guy. Fuck Trump. Fuck the people that support him. I just want you to know, okay? Just in case you're confused or it seems like I'm, whatever. If one of you were in the crowd and you're a conservative fan of mine and you end up, getting blown away or whatever the fuck, I'm making fun of you the next day on Twitter. I am 100%.
So sorry for the cursing, but this was Destiny talking about the guy who died at the rally, the volunteer firefighter, the volunteer fire captain or volunteer fire chief, pardon me. The guy who lost his life. Listen, I don't care what your political affiliation is. I would never just dance in your grave. The only time I would do something like that is if you are a verifiably bad person. If you got caught with 100 dead kids in the back of your van and then you got deleted, I would say, well, hey, good riddance. If you try to assassinate a president, I don't care who you are trying to assassinate. I don't care if it's Biden, Trump, Obama. I don't care who it is. If you're trying to assassinate a president and they delete you, then you earn that. You earn that. But an innocent person just in the crowd to celebrate that and dance on his grave is crazy. But this guy, Destiny, this guy has been a cancer on the internet for a long time. He is a trash person. He is a trash human. People think that he's intelligent because he's able to have debates and stuff online, but he's just a guy that has no life experience and it can only read a book and derive from it what he thinks makes sense. So to people that don't know about the subject, pardon me, he may sound like he's an intelligent person to those who are uninformed about what he's talking about. If you don't know anything about what's happening in the black community, for example, and he tells you, and he says, hey, here's my sources I read from this book, that book, that book. If you don't know anything, you might take what he says and say that it makes sense. But what he doesn't have is the actual experience. It's like trying to learn how to fly a plane from a guy who has read all the books and done all this stuff, but never actually flew a plane before. Instead of talking to the 20-year pilot that may not know all of what he knows as far as certain books that don't really matter when it comes to aviation, the guy with the experience and the actual training in that is going to know more than the guy in his basement playing video games, just talking crap. That's Destiny. That's him. Okay, a twerp, a blue-haired weirdo, LGBT, don't know if he likes men or women. I hate him. I really do. And that right there solidified it for me. People ask me, hey, man, why don't you get on Destiny's show? Why don't you do another debate? I don't want to be linked to this human at all. I don't want to be linked to that human or guys like Fresh and Fit. Look, I don't want to be linked to these people. I don't want to have my name linked to theirs. I don't want anything to do with it, period. Period. And there's a lot of guys just like him. I stay away from you. But when I see that kind of ideology, male feminist, blue hair, twerpy energy, get away from me. Because you know what? Guys like that will be the ones that'll hurt you. Guys like that, they'll be the one to do something to you. Because they're cowards and they don't understand how to really behave in the world. The real street guys, I don't got to worry about. They're not going to do nothing to me. Guys like this will be the ones that will try to get you involved with some criminal allegations. A male Me Too. Anyway, I digress. That's him. So he also went on Piers Morgan, okay? I'm gonna play some of this. I've not seen this, but he also went on Piers Morgan. And you know what? Shame on the mainstream media for allowing this guy to be on their networks. Shame on them. But you know, they're chasing ratings and whatnot. I respect Piers Morgan to a certain extent. You shouldn't have on these people, though. I mean, it's your platform. Do what you want. I'm just giving you a suggestion. You know, sometimes the clicks and the ratings ain't even worth it. You can get a lot of money from people watching this moron, but how is that going to damage your show? And how is that going to damage your ability to get on other guests? I don't want to go in a place where they're talking to guys like this. You know what I mean? Like if you got some a male who calls himself female parading around, do I want to go there? Not really. Anyway, I'm getting triggered.
But when you are in a world where conservatives can say anything.
No, I'm not a conservative.
They can have any conspiracy theories.
I'm not a conservative.
They can have any plot. They can do any of these things. And then liberals are supposed to sit here and be like, oh my God, it's so tragic.
No, Destiny.
Absolutely not.
Let me explain.
Absolutely.
Let me explain my position, because I'm not a conservative. I'm not on either side in your race, right? Here's what I think about what you did. You'd like to fire off, as you've done so far in this debate, about your fury at how disgusting Republicans are, how inhumane they are, how they never have any empathy, blah, 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 blah. And then you yourself actually are exactly the person that you're describing. You are inhuman. You are somebody who seems almost gleeful that a young firefighter with a family, with a wife and children, who he was protecting as he was shot dead.
I mean, because really what Piers is saying is right. Regardless of what, I don't care. Like if you got an innocent person, I don't care I don't care what religion they are. I don't care about nothing, man. Innocent is innocent. A criminal engaging in criminal activity, like, okay, you're robbing the bank. You got the clerk at gunpoint. You talking about, I'm going to kill everybody and kill myself. And then the police snipe you. Good job, police, for saving lives. He had to go. But a regular person, just innocent person minding their business, that's the ultimate kind of despicable to dance on that man's grave. It's ultimately despicable. I don't care what political affiliation. It could be gay, straight, black, white. I don't care. That's crazy. That's just beyond me. You know, that is on the level of trying to, harass children, in my humble opinion.
That he deserved what was coming to him because he went to a President Trump rally, a man who was president of the United States until recently for 4 years and maybe again. You sound almost gleeful, Destin, and I'm sorry. That makes you, frankly, despicable.
I don't think I'm gleeful about anything. I don't think anybody should die. I don't think anybody deserves to die. But you want to talk about gleeful? Look at the conservative response to Pelosi's husband when they broke in.
I can answer that.
Mainstream media.
Now, I'm going to just pause right here because I've seen that comparison be made with Pelosi's husband. The thing was, the story didn't make any sense, and they were lying about it at first. They were not giving the full story. And we didn't see it happen live on TV. We're getting the story piecemeal. They said all kind of things that didn't make it. The story didn't add up. And then when he came to the door, it was weird. It was just like confusion more than dancing on. Like nobody was excited that he got beat up with the hammer. Nobody said he deserved to get beat up by the hammer. We're just like, why was the guy in the house? How did this happen? Where was the security for Nancy Pelosi? Why was his house not guarded properly? Why did the cops not know? It was a lot of questions. So this is what he'll do. He'll point at a situation like that, take it out of context, and then try to use it in an argument. And if you don't know anything about what the context was, you take his word for it. Kind of like the whole Project 2025 thing, when they say, oh, it's dangerous and they're trying to put us back in slavery, ridiculous things. But if you don't know anything about what they're talking about and you trust that person, you'll believe it.
I can answer that.
I don't care.
I can answer that.
With all due respect, I don't care what your answer is.
Let me answer that.
The reality is that conservatives have been turning the temperature up on the rhetoric. They have been making fun of these types of events for years, and now when something happens to them, now they're looking for sympathy from the liberal side. Absolutely not. It's insane. It's unhinged that you can conduct yourself in such a manner and expect people to feel sorry when things happen.
Why should anybody on the right listen to a word of your hectoring and lecturing about how they should behave? And by the way, for the record, the mockery of Nancy Pelosi's husband when he was attacked by an intruder with a hammer was also despicable, right? I can see despicable behavior.
And you know what? This is kind of like what little kids do. You know, this is like a childlike mentality. And a lot of men, a lot of adult males like Destiny are still children. You see, you're trying to go tit for tat. Well, it's like when I was a little kid and I got a little boombox from granddad, and then my cousin, shout out to you if you're watching, she wanted one too, start crying. I want one too. I want one too. Well, if he got one, why can't I have one? That's what, but we were children. That's what children do. Go tit for tat. Well, he made fun of Paul Pelosi, so I'm going to make fun of you. Dumb. Listen, your standards and what you have as your values shouldn't just be changing because you feel like it's a way to get back at somebody. It's a way to attack somebody. If you think that someone who is innocent should not be harmed, you should always think that. I'm going to always think that regardless of who it is. Whoever they are, wherever they are, I'm going to always think that, period. I'm not going to change that stance because I want to get back at somebody or I want to be spiteful and hateful and childish. This dude I hate, or I hate guys like him, adult children. Once you become an adult and don't still be in the state of perpetual adolescence. And you're a bad kid on top of that. You be the type of kid that gets suspended. But now that you can be free and do it on the internet, and I bet you a lot of his fans are going to be very young people who still are children themselves mentally. This guy I hate. I don't like him at all.
On all sides, and I'm happy to call it out when I see it. You, however, want to present yourself as this great kind of standard bearer of decency who sees outrageous behavior on the right time and again and is incensed by this disgusting, inhumane behavior. And yet time and again, since the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, you have displayed exactly the same kind of inhumane behavior. Fuck him about a fireman who is killed because he attends a rally of a guy he wants to vote for.
My issue with the MAGA kids is not that they are not empathetic. My issue is that they support a president that led an insurrection against the United States. I'm not here to tone police over there.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I think I had enough. I might cover this in a separate video, but right now I think I'm done. This dude's a nut, man. I don't want to be nowhere near around guys like that. If it's a party and it's gonna be full of those kind of guys, I don't want to be around you because I feel like something bad gonna happen. I don't want to be involved, man. I just all I want to do is just, report the news and stay out the way. That's all I want to do, man. I don't want to have to get nobody no Hollywood Hulk Hogan leg drop, man. I don't want to do that. Now let's move right along. Somebody's crying. Is somebody crying? Hold on. This young man is, the caption says, realizing Trump is getting reelected for sure now. Okay. Some dude, some man child crying tears on his face. You better be trolling, sir. But I don't think he is. I'm seeing like the crazy balled up little kid face. I gotta grow up, man. Look, I don't want to see no grown man crying on TV. Listen, I got a little word, Uncle ABL time. Listen, and I saw Mimi Rock that Kick and X banned Destiny, of course, because they don't want to be associated with trash humans either. Nobody likes people like that. It's bad for business. It's bad for society. It's just generally not a good thing to do. You may be able to get some clicks and ratings and views and attention and subscribers and money by behaving that way, but ultimately, people that want to maintain the integrity of their platform cannot have you celebrating somebody almost getting assassinated and innocent people dying. They can't have that be linked to their company. When you're a big face, people know who you are. They can't have that, man. And at a certain point, I don't blame them. People could say, oh, you're censoring people. Look, man, you got to censor some things. You can't just let whatever happen. But anyway, so look, Uncle ABL time. Don't ever, as a man, film yourself crying and upload it. We don't do stuff like that. Look, man, if you happen to cry, your baby's born or some kind of, heartfelt thing, family member dies, okay, you're allowed a few tears. Go ahead. You're a human being. But because of an election and you want to film yourself and upload it like you're one of the girls, we don't do that, sir. Okay, only blinds and your internet models can do stuff like that and get away with it. Okay, they're gonna get cash apps and gifts and all kind of stuff. You, sir, ain't gonna get nothing but ABL talking at you crazy because you're a grown black man crying tears on the internet for a president. We don't do that, sir. Okay, we don't do that. Now, we got some reactions from these leftists aside from that twerp I showed earlier. We got regular normies. This is my man, James Klug. You guys, please subscribe to James Klug, Klug, on the YouTubes. But the caption here says, Trump completely broke the left. Listen to what they think about July 13th. Question. I have a question for you guys. Just a question. Are we going to refer to July 13th by July 13th and as much or more than January 6th? Is that going to happen? Okay. What was January 6th? A so-called insurrection. Who died? One of the so-called insurrectionists. Although there was plenty of riots in Washington, D.C. in the year before January 6th, right? Leading up to January 6th. When I was in D.C. in November 2020, I was seeing bullet holes in random stores right there in D.C. Boarded up windows, all that stuff before January 6th happened because Antifa had been there. So are we going to refer to July 13th by that and as much or more frequently than January 6th? And if we don't, you already know what happened. A president almost getting assassinated is rare. Has not happened since 1981, Ronald Reagan, when he got shot and survived. There's been plenty of riots all over the country over the past few years. All over, everywhere. We saw it in Seattle, Baltimore, Ferguson, Missouri. All over. Atlanta, Georgia had a chest chop. D.C. had Black House Autonomous Zone. There was always riots and little skirmishes happening in this country. Many, it's countless. But the last time a president almost got assassinated was, 43 years ago, 42 years ago? Not very common. But anyway, let's hear what some of these lefty normies have to say about the whole situation.
It's a false flag.
False flag?
Yeah, false flag.
Somebody died and 2 people injured. What do you think about that?
False flag.
False flag.
I thought it was magnificently staged. It was professionally done. It almost looked real.
Wait. Staged by who?
Oh, by Mr. Trump, of course.
I think this whole thing is staged.
You think it was staged?
Yeah.
It depends on everybody's view. Yeah.
View of the assassination attempt? What do you think? Does it kind of depend on where you're standing, whether or not you agree with the assassination attempt or disagree with it?
I just don't see that being the truth, but that's I'd rather just not make any comment.
Really quick, what are you talking about the truth? What do you mean? Oh, you just don't believe it was an assassination attempt?
No.
Please don't. We're so anti-Trump. I don't even want to.
Was it a bad thing, though? Was it a bad thing? Would you condemn it?
Oh, that he got shot at? Of course.
Yeah, right.
Of course, you don't do that.
That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, that's really bad. Yeah, exactly. You don't do that. Was it staged? Probably.
Staged?
Yeah.
Okay, so you think Trump maybe...
She was doing so good. All she had to do was just say, yes, I think it's bad. It was staged. That's the craziest thing. People talk about it staged. So you're going to stage by... Oh, the question is staged by who? Let's do a follow-up question. Was this, you think Trump did that to himself? Or do you think it was a hit?
He staged a fake assassination for support. Okay. And that resulted in somebody dying and other people being critically injured?
I haven't seen the news today. I'm not here for the news. I haven't seen anything. I'm on vacation.
So you just thought it was fake?
Of course.
One person died in the crowd, 2 critically injured. What happened there?
Small price. It wouldn't matter to Trump. Do you think he cares if people die for him to be elected? Death doesn't mean anything to Trump.
Now,
so this guy has TDS so bad, he thinks that Trump set this up. Got shot himself. I mean, we saw the animation from earlier where if Trump does not turn his head within a split second, he's going to get shot. So you think he just did that to himself? He got shot in his ear just for funsies? Is that what happened?
Anything to Trump?
Now, staged from whose side? Do you think Donald Trump staged it for attention?
Could be, or it could be the other side trying to make a scene or something. But I don't. The fact that they only got his ear and he would like stood up and said America. I don't. Come on.
Hey man, look. You're right that it sounds crazy that he's on the stage. Sniper has a shot. Ain't nobody doing nothing to the sniper. He shoots and only hits his ear and gets up triumphantly with the infamous picture. Blood on his face. It sounds crazy, right? Yeah. But at a certain point, you gotta say, you know what? God did that. How can you explain it? Again, as I was asking from the beginning, what are the odds of that happening? It's almost impossible.
Right. It doesn't feel normal.
What is our evidence for suggesting that it was a fake assassination attempt?
I think that he walked away alive with perhaps a scratch on his ear.
Yeah, it grazed his ear.
Yeah. Of course, behind the scenes, that was all fabricated. Some noise, they put a little scratch on his ear, threw a little blood on his face.
Now, so you think that they planned from 130 yards away to shoot off the corner of his ear?
And they never shot off the corner of his ear. That was all done by the people hanging around him. Nobody ever shot off his ear.
So somebody got deleted, though. We saw pictures of the sniper dead on top of the roof. So what are we talking about? How about the firefighter? So the bullets hit the firefighter near Trump, but the bullets didn't hit Trump. And the person who shot the firefighter and Trump got shot by Secret Service, but it's fake. All right. Hey, man, listen. TDS is curable, but you know what? It's part of this. It's part of the process, right? You have to be able to get past your denial. I mean, you might need to go to rehab. If I had just unlimited resources, a bag full of just all the money I wanted to spend, limitless credit card, I'd open the TDS rehab facility. Like a re-education camp. Hey, man, but it'd be voluntary. I wouldn't be like China. Is your loved one experiencing TDS? Does your loved one missed all the fun things they would do in the past? Well, look, if they talk about Trump 55% of the day, tell them to come here. I'll disguise it as something else. I'll say that it's a Rosie O'Donnell meetup. Matter of fact, you could be on The View for a whole week. Just come to this place and stay for a while. Meanwhile, it'd be like an 8-hour course, a re-education camp, and then they can get free tickets to wherever they want to go afterward. But they're probably not going to want them when I'm done with them. I put them in a little boot camp. Anyway, I'm doing too much.
His ear.
Okay. So you just see it grazing his ear as maybe not real. What about the people that died what about the father that died in the stand as well as the others that were critically injured?
I don't know. I can't tell, but to me it just looks like it was planned, and bless that guy's soul for dying for this cause. I'm so sorry for that person's family.
So you think, if we're thinking that that's a big thing to think is that Donald Trump's administration faked an assassination, got people killed to try to do this. What would you say our reasoning is for saying that, or we have no reasoning?
Just the feeling. Just the feeling.
I haven't paid attention to anything right now because that's not where my mind is at right now. Okay. So as of right now, I just, like I said, I didn't want to talk about it.
Well, if we're not paying attention, is the right move to say that Donald Trump staged the assassination and faked an assassination against himself? Is that the right move, or is the right move just to say, I don't know?
I'm just going to say, I don't know. I'm on vacation.
Oh, well, you're against fake news, Donald. How about against being against all this other fake crap that you pull? If Trump is involved, it's a fraud.
That was a powerful moment after he got shot. Bro got shot in the ear. Yeah. And he I don't know, he showed everyone that he's strong and stuff. So
what are your thoughts about those people? Are they foolish for believing that this is a real assassination attempt?
Yeah, a lot of people are easily fooled by Donald Trump. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy just has TDS, man. Like, that's late stage TDS. He might be incurable. His TDS might have metastasized and went to every organ in his body, because that's crazy, man. So yeah, shout out to TDS. We gotta get it together, man. The TDS survivors are crazy. All right, but if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, now how can somebody asked the question, how can Biden top this? First, the big thing that was against Biden that happened to Trump was Trump getting convicted. That was a fundraising bonanza. And I think this here with the assassination attempt, oh my goodness, I've not even seen the number since the assassination attempt. Hold on. Let me see if I can if they're going to write anything about the donations. Hold on, let me see. Wow, here's something right here from Elon. So Elon, let me put it on the screen for you guys. Let me put it on the screen. This is from Forbes. All right, check this out. We're talking about money. This just got published yesterday. So this could be as a result of the assassination attempt. You ready? Look. Elon Musk donates $45 million a month to a pro-Trump PAC. $45 million a month. It says billionaire Tesla and SpaceX head Elon Musk will donate $45 million per month to a pro-Trump political PAC ahead of the November election, marking one of Musk's biggest steps in his month-long shift into Republican politics, though the billionaire has a long history of donating to political candidates, including lawmakers from both parties. So this is going to be a big money thing. Trump's going to have a boatload of money from people because the people, whether they be millionaires, billionaires, regular normies, whatever, they see what's happening here. They see the effort to get Trump out the way, whether it be by the state, whether it be by just other normies, mouth breathers, crash test dummies, whatever it is. They see the effort to get him out the way. So they're going to really do whatever they can to make sure that he has an easy road to victory. All right. Yes. $45 million per month until November. All right. So yeah, shout out to, that's right, Robbie Mill. And also Elon is moving SpaceX and Twitter, now known as X, to Texas from California, which he should have done a long time ago. I thought he was already done. I think they might have had a Tesla. I think Tesla already moved to Austin, which ain't nothing but a California exclave at this point. But it's still better than California, regardless. So he moved Tesla to California. Now you're going to have SpaceX and Twitter in California. I mean, from California to Texas. Great move. Great move. All right. Now, what can Biden do to top this? As I was saying, the conviction in New York City, fundraising bonanza, assassination attempt, same thing. Big money coming into the campaign. So this woman has an idea for Biden to top what is going on with Trump. Check it out.
Biden needs to upstage Trump after this shooting. Okay, so how is he going to do that? He has to come out as gay. So if I was his PR team, I would already be planning his coming out party. Everyone in the state, everyone in the crowd, gets poppers. They start playing I'm Coming Out by Diana Ross. He explains to America that he thought he was bisexual, but he realized that he's full-blown gay and that he's strictly men and it's a brat summer and he's gay. Another way he could upstage Trump is that he could get a little teardrop tattoo under his eye.
No. Okay. Let's not. But yeah, shout out to her. Hey, Biden, I don't know what he could do. Oh, you know what? You know what he really could do? And maybe I can say this, maybe I can't say this. But you know what Biden might end up doing? Hey, man, they said he has COVID. Listen, okay. Y'all help me out here. Y'all know I can't say certain things on YouTube. I'm not trying to get flagged. But y'all know what you know exactly where I'm going with that. Let me put it on the screen right quick, okay? Let me put it on the screen that Biden has COVID. All right. So here we go. Here's some Axios. Biden tests positive for COVID while campaigning in Las Vegas. And it's an NAACP convention. How convenient is that? I think he might have found out at the NAACP convention. And then it's like, oh, okay, I got COVID here. Anyway, what could happen is an 81-year-old, feeble, elderly man all of a sudden gets COVID-19. Hey, man, listen, we know what the comorbidities are. We know the biggest risk group: obese, diabetes, comorbidities, elderly. Is it a coincidence that just 3 to 4 days after the assassination attempt, he gets COVID? Is that a coincidence? I mean, y'all just let me know. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Okay. Hey, man, that might be his way out. That might be his way out. But again, I'm not trying to say nothing crazy. I'm not trying to wish it on nobody. But maybe the plan was by somebody, who knows? It could have been anybody, right? Get Trump out of the way on Saturday. We missed. Okay, let's get Biden out of the way. Because if Trump is still there and he's not going anywhere and he's getting stronger and stronger, it's impossible to beat him unless we get Biden out some kind of way and put in a better candidate like a Gavin Newsom. That'll be the Hail Mary shot. Although I don't really see it happening, that could be the plan. And then they make up an excuse as to why they can't put Kamala Harris right there in line of succession. Or maybe Kamala appoints Gavin as the vice president and Gavin acts as the president. It's a reunion from California when he's he's Nancy Pelosi's nephew and she used to be the attorney general, all kind of stuff, right? It'll be that. He may be appointed as a vice president, but he'll be the president, kind of similar to Dick Cheney and George W. But that's a different story, and I digress. Hey, I done told y'all, Dick Cheney had all the power in the world. This guy, as I've said many times before, shot somebody in the head and made them go on TV and apologize for him. That's power. That's power. That was what Dick Cheney had. Okay. So now, speaking about weird things and family ties and politics from a while. Okay. Going back to the shooter, Matthew Crooks. Here's a post from New York Post. BlackRock, the, investment firm, I guess, buying up real estate. BlackRock pulls ad that featured Trump shooter Thomas Matthew Crooks. So how did this kid, this young man, 20 years old, how was he in the BlackRock ad? What are the odds of this happening? Look, who can say they've been on TV before? Like in a commercial or something like that? It's probably not that common. Okay, unless you're an actor or you might have been pursuing it for a while. How did this guy brought up on TV for an ad on BlackRock? I think we have a commercial. We might have the full thing. I think we do.
Lalo, IT.
Okay, let's see.
AP and honors economics.
And pardon the music in the background. Matter of fact, I'm gonna turn it off. So this is a commercial. Pardon the small size. I can't fix that. So it's a teacher, and then he's in the classroom, and he's right in the front. The shooter's right in front. So what's going on? Maybe the feds already didn't visit it and say, hey, man, they might, like I said, the feds know everything. They might have had a profile of people in that town. Okay, you might be kind of soft. You might be easy to manipulate. Let me just put some things around you, put it in your search algorithm and make you get a little bit more radicalized. So you go out there and do something crazy, and then we'll have everything set up around you. We'll be waiting on you. We know that you're coming. We know how to manipulate you. You'll be there on time. And then let's just do what it do. But I don't know who could have done something like that. I'm just saying. All right. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff that'll help me out tremendously. All right. We got a little bit more to get into. All right. Let me see this from the media.
Also, George, we have to point out, no matter who the shooter, what the shooter's motives were, no matter who the shooter is, you are going to hear conspiracy theories going forward.
No question about that. But as you point out, those statements from JD Vance and Vivek Ramaswamy, of course, President Trump and his supporters have contributed to this violent rhetoric as well.
Well, absolutely, George. We were just looking back this morning at some of the things that former President Trump has said. He warned last March of potential death and destruction if he were charged by the Manhattan District Attorney. Our country is being destroyed as they tell us to be peaceful. Trump in January warned of bedlam in the country if the criminal charges against him succeeded. And of course, in March, he said, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the.
I mean, they're trying very hard to make this be about the rhetoric coming from Trump. How can that be the case if how can Trump's rhetoric be the cause of what's happening? Because in their mind, or in the mind of somebody that's hearing this, they're going to think that it's Trump supporters listening to Trump and going out there and acting a certain way. But that's not what's happening. It's a bunch of violence going towards us from the other side. So are we radicalizing them? I don't understand. I don't get it.
The country, that will be the least of it. He said he was partly joking and that was taken out of context, but those are indeed his words. And you have heard it from supporters as well, and supporters are certainly in some parts angry. And let's remember January 6th. In so many ways for the campaign, January 6th will probably be in the background after yesterday's event. This is a very difficult time for this campaign. I'm sure this week in Milwaukee that President Trump will highlight this, and President Biden is going to have to figure out how to go forward with.
So, yeah, I mean, people like her and her organization, ABC News, they're the ones responsible for this. They're the ones stoking the fire. They're the ones taking things out of context and making them, twisting your words around, making you say things you didn't really say, trying to paint you as some kind of Hitler, Mussolini. They do that to you. And then the general public, you find one soft person, one idiot, to go out there and act on what the media has been saying. But then the media will gaslight and say, oh, well, Trump did it. Huh? People that would believe what you're believing and what you're saying are the ones going out here committing the violence. It ain't the other way around.
For anyone out there.
All right, hold on, pause. RP to the headphone users. Normal Bumblebee, chap, shout out to you. I got some videos from Australia I got to play in a minute as well, because you guys are talking about this. Like I was saying earlier, the whole world's watching this. I showed the anime from Japan talking about the assassination attempt. And now in a minute, we're going to get to Australia talking about how fake our news is. You know, it's not just the assassination attempt they're watching. They're watching everything. They're watching how the media is talking about it. They're watching how fake everything is over here when you're talking about television. People see this. But here is Jen Psaki talking about what's going on. Let's see what she has to say.
For anyone out there who has a platform, who thinks the moment right now is to be political and attack the other party, you are feeding into the danger. You are making it more likely there's retaliation. I'm incredibly scared. I'm scared for journalists. I'm scared for people who have public platforms of all parties. And that's how people should feel. For anyone out
retaliation, the guy that did it is already dead. You think that people are going to attack you guys because of what you did? Are you admitting guilt? Oops, sorry, we did that. So I don't want anybody to try to come back at me and retaliate for what we did. I mean, that's what I heard. Maybe you guys heard something different, but you know, it is what it is. Now, can we show the videos from Oz, Australia? Now, they understand how crazy it is over here. Everybody else understands it except for some of us in the USA.
Joining me now is Wrong Speak Publishing founder Adam B. Coleman. Adam, thank you very much for joining us. Now, you wrote in the wake of the Trump assassination attempt that political hatred and irreverence are becoming normalised and profited from, and that anyone that tells you that to build someone up you must tear someone else down is manipulating you, you're being groomed to hate. Why do you think America is indeed being groomed to hate, and by whom?
Yeah, I believe we're being groomed to hate because of how our media has transformed over years. You know, with the advent of the internet, we became the information age, but now we've entered the reaction age. And everything is about gaining some sort of reaction for money. Even mainstream media outlets like CNN produce objectively hideous headlines to either get you to click on it because you're curious of the article, or to click on it because you hate it so much, but it gets your attention, right? It's about gaining a reaction. And hatred is a really big motivator, as far as inducing out of the American public. So we're no longer being informed. As a matter of fact, I will go as far as saying America is one of the most propagandized societies in the world. We're being groomed to hate one another.
It's all facts. All facts. You know, and what happens is that you'll see stuff like on television, like The View and whatnot. It's just people watch. Sometimes people only watch The View for their news. They don't watch anything else. Okay, that's their entertainment in the daytime when they're at home. It's their news. And I've even heard some people say they only go on TikTok for their news. That's it. They're on their phone, and if it's not on TikTok, they don't even know nothing about it. They don't read newspapers. They don't watch television. They don't do anything. They don't seek out information. They don't watch guys like me or anybody else. They don't do anything. So look, if it ain't on TikTok, then it didn't happen. And if you go out in the street and ask a random person about some basic stuff, sometimes you're just going to get answers that are completely uninformed. They have no idea what you're talking about. Who's the vice president? I don't know. Is she black, right? That's going to be your general answer. Here's more from Oz, Australia. RIP to the headphone users. Let's turn that down a little bit, a tad, shall we?
As you can see the bullet that pierced his right ear as he gets up with blood smeared on his face.
Look what happened.
This horrific act has just deepened an already huge divide in the United States of America. But if you were following media outlets like CNN today, well, you would have thought that Donald Trump had a fall. Look at this headline. Secret Service rushed Trump off stage after he falls at rally. Falls. It was an assassination attempt. He's not Joe Biden that doesn't know how to stand up. And that's not a one-off headline. This morning, I was looking at my phone and I was taking screenshots because even though it's CNN, I still couldn't believe it. The next headline I saw, Trump injured in incident at rally. Incident. That's really what they wanted to go with when the man who's been president before and is running again was just shot. Images, you can see the bullet.
I mean, CNN sucks. Everybody knows it. All over the whole world. They're terrible. And they've kind of improved a little bit since the very vocal people out there who don't like them have spoken up and said, you know what, you guys are just too much. The CNN sucks chance. Maybe the turning point was when, what was it, Jim Acosta or whoever that was, got bombarded with CNN sucks chants at a Trump rally. But it was the truth because they did suck and they still suck. They're bad. They're really bad. All right. I have more here that I want to get into. All right. Let me keep on rocking and rolling. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. JD Vance is the vice president, and I think I'm going to be able to show JD Vance's speech. He'll speak at 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. So as soon as he goes up, as soon as he speaks, I'll play that for you guys live. That'll be at about 10:30. Okay. So JD Vance has become the vice president. What's your thoughts about JD Vance? Think he's a good pick for VP, a bad pick? I think it's great. I think it makes a lot of sense because JD Vance is 39 years old. Let me make sure I'm saying the right thing. JD Vance, age 39 years old. He'll be 40 August 2nd. So he'll be 40 in a few days. Like, he's my age. I'll be 40 in September. So we're me and JD Vance are the same age. I think it's great because he's young. He's young. Now, some are going to say 40 years old is not young. Well, 40 years old is a baby when you have an 81-year-old and a 77-year-old fighting for the presidency. Trump made a great decision. Okay, look, when I get done with my presidency, you'll take over. So by that time, he'll be 44. Perfect. And by the time he's done, 52, 54, maybe, depending on how they, 52. Perfect. That's beautiful. Your kids are still pretty young. You got your wife already. You got a pretty solid background. Great. And quite frankly, we need a lot more young faces in politics. We see Mitch McConnell get on stage and freeze up many times because of his age. Joe Biden, mouth open, looking crazy. Mr. Burns. It's just, we seen Dianne Feinstein croak in office. I think Dick Cheney died close to being in office, or he might have just resigned. He might have resigned and got put straight in hospice. This is too much. We got to have younger people wanting to become part of politics and surviving. We had Madison Cawthorn, but what Madison Cawthorn did was tell a story you shouldn't have told on TV about GOP sex parties. Oh, you shouldn't have said that. As soon as he said that, it was over. They pretty much blacklisted him after that. I've not heard from him since. So, and that's part of the problem. You got a lot of people that's in there that shouldn't be in there, abusing their power, using drugs. It's a corrupt place that needs to be cleaned out with younger people. And I just hope that the people that they bring in are not going to fall into the same kind of corrupt lifestyle that currently exists in the federal government of the USA. Okay? As long as we don't fall into that, then we're good. But if we do, then we got a problem. So I think JD Vance is going to be a good pick. Some may not like him because of some of his policies. I want to hear what he says. I want to hear what he says during the speech tonight, and I want to hear where we're going. If he addresses any kind of concerns people may have about him, if he, talks about that, then I think it would be good. Now, what you guys may not know about JD Vance is that he is really good friends with Vivek Ramaswamy. They're both from Cincinnati, Ohio, that area. Middletown is like north of Cincinnati. Vivek's from Cincinnati proper. They met while they were in college going to Yale. One of JD Vance's kids is named Vivek after Vivek Ramaswamy because they were so close as friends like that. But also, JD Vance's wife is Indian. You see what I'm saying? So they probably were all pretty close as friends. And then, of course, there's the romantic connection between JD Vance and his wife that began during college after they all were classmates and things of this nature. You see what I'm saying? So Vivek is probably going to be part of the administration as well. I'm not sure what he's going to do, but he'll be in the administration. It just kind of, because I think many of us thought that it was going to be Vivek as a vice president, but no. JD Vance, Vivek's friend. Okay, so, and they're about the same age, 38, 39, 40, right around that same age, great age. Put Vivek in there, and then I think I even saw Eric Trump say that Vivek would be his running mate in 2032. You see what I'm saying? Because look, okay, it might have a whole plan laid out. So Trump wins this year, 2024 to 2028. That'll be his final term. 2 terms, that's it. 2028, you bring in JD Vance and Vivek. That'd be great. Good friends, best friends from the same area, same age. That'd be a great team right there. JD Vance and Vivek as a vice president. That'd be 2028 to 2032. or he might not even run at that time. Who knows? But he could. It kind of makes sense. If it's not JD Vance anymore, let Vivek do it. Let him be the vice president, whoever. And we got a young bench. That's right. We got a young bench, and we have more nominees coming up. We're going to have more people that probably retire over the next 4 to 8 years. We put in Brett Kavanaugh. We put in Amy Coney Barrett. We put in who else we put in? Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett, and there's one more we put in. Don't tell me. It was I forget the guy's name, but I can see his face. I know who he would. I can see him, but I can't think of his name. Let me just look him up right quick. I know we put in 3: Kavanaugh, Barrett, and who else? Gorsuch. Yeah, we put in Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and the other one. So then you might be able to put in 3 more. And as it stands right now, we got a 6-3 advantage, conservative liberal. We put in 3 more. I mean, we're going to have that kind of advantage for a long time. All right. We have it for a long time, so that'd be great. So, yeah, I think we pretty much got everything. Whatever they're trying to do with Biden is not working. I'm going to play a little bit of Biden so you can see what he's talking about as far as, look at this man's face, man. This is crazy. This guy looks so bad. And you know what? It's funny that now the mainstream media want to talk about how bad Biden looks. It's like, y'all want to talk about that right now when we've been saying that for years now. We've been saying that Biden looks like a hot bag of garbage since before he ran in 2020. And now you want to say that he looks bad and you should replace him. And you got Democrats calling for his resignation. Nah, it's too late now. It's July. It's about to be August. Okay, it's the DNC is next month. It's too late. You don't have time. You got about a month or less to replace this man with somebody else. You don't have time. It's over. But let's hear what he says.
We don't yet have any information about the motive of the shooter. We know who he is. I urge everyone, please, don't make assumptions about his motives or his affiliations. Let the FBI do their job and their partner agencies do their job.
Well, you know what? If we had these alphabet letter people doing their job, then maybe this wouldn't have happened. Secret Service, where were y'all at? You said that there was a threat before. Where was the added security? They knew that there was another threat from Iran, they say. I don't believe that. But they say they knew that before Saturday. But they didn't get more security until after Saturday. Failures.
But in America, we resolve our differences at the battle box.
At the where?
But in America, we resolve our differences at the battle box.
One more time for me. I'm kind of hard of hearing.
But in America, we resolve our differences at the battle box. You know, that's how we do it, at the battle box, not with bullets.
At the battle box? Battle box? Ballot?
But in America, we resolve our differences at the battle box.
There we go. I mean, hey, man, it's a good message, but only if you could deliver it clearly without me having to kind of question. It's a good message. Go vote at the ballot box. I agree. Great message.
So tonight, I'm asking every American to recommit to make America, think about it.
To do what now?
So tonight, I'm asking every American to recommit to make America, think about it.
Make America great again. You can say it. I know you can. Make America great again.
So tonight, I'm asking every American to recommit to make America, think about it. So tonight.
81 million, right? That's him. Look, I can understand why a normie will be freaking out who doesn't see this guy talk ever. normies don't know what's going on. But if you're a Democrat, like operative, you seen this guy for years. You knew that he was like that. Now, oh my gosh, I didn't know any better. Come on, man. Like, let's stop. Okay, now let's keep on rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. Oh, here is, I think we have Van Jones reacting to JD Vance. All right. We have him reacting to JD Vance.
You know, part of the reason that JD Vance matters isn't for these kind of short-term electoral calculations. He matters because of what he means to the Republican Party long-term. This is cementing a kind of nationalism. Yeah. Now, Trump, to your point, I agree with you, he's an instinctive, impulsive, intuitive nationalist. JD Vance is an ideological nationalist. That's a much more dangerous virus because he can polish this stuff and make it seem palatable to people. He can sell this stuff to Silicon Valley. He can sell this stuff other places. And what it does is it locks the Republican Party on a pathway that I think is dangerous for the world. Again, the Ukrainians are now in deep trouble. NATO is now in deep trouble. Trump he could have gone with a Nikki Haley and signaled to the world, hey, listen, I got to give stuff to my base, but I'm not going to abandon the world. This pick is a horror on the world stage. So JD Vance matters because Donald Trump is pointing the Republican Party in a very scary direction for the long term.
So yeah, that's him talking about JD Vance. Like JD Vance, he'll be like the boogeyman, and he's here to just delete everybody. So if JD Vance gets in there and he has his way, they're gonna send black folks back to the cotton mill. they're gonna do all this stuff. I mean, the fear mongering is crazy. The fear mongering is out of control. It really, really, really is. All right. Now let's keep on rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, y'all know what to do. Please matter of fact, don't give the video a thumbs up. Go to the ballot box and vote for me there. Give me a thumbs up on the battle box. That's what I want. All right, let's keep on rocking here. Here's a speech from Vivek at the RNC, or a portion of it.
To those of you watching this at home tonight, I'd like to deliver a message that the media doesn't want you to hear from the Republican Party. Our message to black Americans is this. The media has tried to convince you for decades that Republicans don't care about your communities, but we do. We want for you what we want for every American: safe neighborhoods, clean streets, good jobs, a better life for your children, and a justice system that treats everyone equally, regardless of your skin color and regardless of your political beliefs. Our message to every legal immigrant in this country is this: you're like my parents. You deserve the opportunity to secure a better life for your children in America. But our message to illegal immigrants is also this: we will return you to your country of origin, not because you're all bad people, but because you broke the law. And the United States of America was founded on the rule of law. Our message to millennials, speaking as one myself: yes, it's true. Our government sold us a false bill of goods with the Iraq War and the 2008 financial crisis, loading up our national debt that falls on our generation's shoulders, telling us that if we took out college loans, we'd somehow get a head start on the American dream, when it hasn't worked out that way. But we can't just be cynical about our country, because the United States of America is still the last best hope that we have, and we deserve a better class of politician, one who actually tells us the truth, even if it comes with some mean tweets from time to time. And our message to Gen Z is this. You're going to be the generation that actually saves this country. You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative. Say you want to get married, have kids, teach them to believe in God and pledge allegiance to their country. Because you know what? Fear has been infectious in this country, but courage can be contagious too. That too is what it means to be an American.
So there we go. I mean, a great speech from Vivek. So what do you guys think? Do you think that he is going to be in the administration? I mean, he has to be. And some say he might be a senator because, of course, JD Vance is a senator now in Ohio, and they got to replace him. He's only been there 2 years out of a 6-year term, so they're going to replace him. Maybe there's going to be a Senate run from Vivek Ramaswamy. Maybe he'll be the one that I don't think he'll be the one that replaces. He could be appointed by the governor, I suppose. Is it Mike DeWine, the governor of Ohio? What's that? Make sure I'm saying the right thing. Yeah, Mike DeWine. So Mike DeWine, the governor of Ohio, could replace Vance with Vivek potentially. I'm not sure that he would do that. Either way, I think he could run. And I think if he ran, he'd win in Ohio. And again, Vivek is from Cincinnati, the same area where JD Vance is from. So it'd be kind of an easy swap. All right. So yeah, shout out to Vivek. He's definitely going to be around in the future. You're not going to see that great of a performance from a potential candidate to become the president and have him go away. I don't think so. Some may still have some trust issues with Vivek, but ultimately, I think I like what he said. All right. Somebody says maybe in Trump's cabinet or Congress, there's potential. Absolutely. Okay. So do I have more here? Hold on. I got something for Candace Owens about the Secret Service kerfuffle, about how it probably shouldn't have been women there. And again, like I said, my take on it is if you're going to have women protecting the president, I want them to be looking like China from WWF back in the day. Give me a big 6-foot tall bull dagger that like to fight. Give me the bull dagger that can knock guys out. The kind of woman that will box men in prison. That's who I want if it's going to be a woman. Don't give me no 5'2", you know what I'm saying, clerk. That's not for that situation, okay? Same thing with the men. Don't give me no horse jockey to be out there on the front line protecting the president. Give me the guy that only has grunts for communication who is a 6'5" block of steel. Give me that guy right there. Don't give me the administrative person, the IT guy to become Secret Service. That's not who I envision taking the bullet for the president. And they made a meme. Now, don't get offended by this meme, ladies. Love y'all. It's just a meme. Remember that woman who could not holster her weapon, the Secret Service agent? She was having a time holstering the weapon. Remember that? Well, they made a meme, and there we go. That's her in the kitchen making a sandwich. They got the mayonnaise on her belt like it's part of her weapon, like it's part of her holster situation. You got all the different meats, fresh tomatoes and romaine and all that, and you got the sandwiches with the little with the toothpick and the umbrella. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Okay, that's better. Because that was crazy. She was struggling to put the gun in the holster. I'm like, oh man, this ain't it. This is not it. But anyway, here's the video from Candace. Check it out.
First, want to say the director of Secret Service is a woman named Kim Cheatle. Okay, and you already know what I'm going to say. Oh, there's going to be the headlines. Candace says that women shouldn't be pilots and women shouldn't be running a security apparatus. Let me show you this clip, by the way, of one of the way too many Secret Service female agents trying to holster her gun. Okay, this is from last night. This is actually a real footage from last night after the president of the United States, former president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, was almost assassinated. Take a look at this video.
So you can see her right there. See, lady right there in the center with the white shirt and the glasses. Now, to be fair, you probably got adrenaline pumping. It's making you shake. But again, you're a Secret Service agent. This is your job now. You got to be ready for these moments. And if you're not ready for these moments, then this might not be for you. And why are you trying to holster your weapon when there was just a shooting and the president got shot? If your gun is out, keep it out.
We can get out of this. No disrespect to the many women who are willing to lay down their lives, right? I have no disrespect. There are tons of women who can shoot guns, right? And shoot them very well. But when it comes to the responsibility of guarding the former president of the United States, we need men. Can we acknowledge reality? Are we allowed to acknowledge gender and sex and the natural biological proclivities of men versus women? Are we allowed to do that? Because guess what? I don't care whether we're allowed to do it. I've been doing it the entire time. I want male pilots. I want male security guards. I want men back, okay? Men back doing male tasks that they are naturally inclined to do.
I mean, it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. Now, some are going to call her what's the new thing they got? Pick me, I guess that's what they say. They're gonna call her just trying to cater to the men and the incel. Listen, it's not even about that. It's about men do certain things better than women, and women do certain things better than men. It's okay. We have strengths and weaknesses. When we come together, we complement each other where we may fall short. That's just humanity. It's okay to say that. It's not. I'm not trying to attack women by saying that I'm better at this than you because you're better at certain things than me. Okay, the majority of your nurses, women. Majority of those that decorate and make things look pretty, and that's going to be women. Majority of your paid models, women. Women do certain things better. Obviously, I cannot produce a baby. I'm not going to get pregnant, okay? You know, they want to say men can get pregnant. No, we cannot. It's impossible. I never in my life been pregnant, okay? And I don't think that I'm going to start becoming pregnant at age 40 because I don't know where it's going to come out. And I think either way, it's going to be pretty painful. And I don't know how I'm going to get a womb in here. I don't know how that really works. Maybe, just maybe, I was not designed to do that because I'm not a woman. I don't know, man. Everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. And to act like there's nothing, it's just we're the same. It's ridiculous. That's this woke feminist type of nonsense, which is kind of actually counterproductive to feminism because if everybody's the same, then how are you a feminist? I don't get it. What does feminism mean? That you act girly? What about the bulldaggers? They're still women. Or did they not get covered by feminism? I don't understand. It's weird. Yeah, a birthing person. Birthing person. So yeah, shout out to Candace Owens for the clip. Shout out to her. Her channel, her new, or the revitalized channel is doing very well. Shout out to her. Yeah, somebody says it. Dublin Fitzpatrick says, I'm a woman. I know there are certain things a male can do that I cannot. Exactly. Same. And same here. I'm never going to pop out a baby, no matter how much. Like if I decided to go Bruce Jenner, which I would never do. I would never go Bruce Jenner. But if a man decides to go Bruce Jenner and identify as a woman, he would never, ever, ever have a baby. And if he does, then we're pretty much, look, if an actual biological male somehow gives birth, at that point, you know that the world is over with. At that point, you know it's over. I don't care how much of a beard you got and all this and that. If you are a biological XX, it is what it is. That's why you had the baby, because you're biological XX. You could take beard pills. Doesn't matter. You still are what you are at the end of the day. Now, let's keep on rocking and rolling here. We got super chats on deck. Then we're going to get to the calls for a while, I suppose. Shout out to Apu, who says Seth Rich, Epstein, J6, Deep State involved. So what happened in Pennsylvania? You can't tell me that the deep state is not involved. FBI cover up. Abu Bakr Al-Puff Daddy says, community's reaction to what happened to Trump. Trump going to get some respect. Trump going to get some votes. How can any man not vote for Trump after that? Well, the community were kind of shocked. People are making jokes. But a lot of us said, hey, Trump black now because you got felonies. You about to get locked up potentially. And you they tried to shoot you and you didn't die. You got shot. They said the next thing would be put out a mixtape, flood the streets with some good music. That'll make you black at that point. Yeah, at this point, I'll say Trump is black. Orange is the new black, quite literally. Apple also says vote for Biden is vote for President Kamala. Think, correct? Thank you to Apple again, who says Savannah Hernandez questions CNN reporters who cower. Yeah, I saw that. They ain't want to talk about nothing. Apple also says, comment from @Honeybee. Hi, ABL. I'll be listening from the Rolling Stones concert in Santa Clara tonight. I'll say hi to Mick for you. Nide. Shout out to her. Apple also says 8 years, Obama gave hundreds of outdoor speeches. Nothing like this. This is not just incompetence. This is intentional negligence. No way a 20-year-old did this. Thank you to Andrew Lapinesi, who says, look at the time of the interview. This is symbolism. Thank you to LW304 2003, who says, what's up with Amber Rose and the crypto? Oh, shout out to Amber Rose. I ain't even cover her. Pardon me on that one. Do I have time for calls? Because I want to show JD Vance. We'll get to that in a minute. But I don't have time to show Amber. But shout out to Amber Rose. Just quickly about Amber Rose. I think she's very courageous to come out and say what she said at the RNC. And I think most conservatives, Republicans, appreciated Amber Rose there. But some people want to talk about, she's this, she's that. She's disgusting, all this and that. And the third, I'm like, man, y'all got to understand, conservatives don't have culture at all. We don't have it. The left has it. If you want to make any kind of inroads with anybody else other than boomers, which is the boomers are the ones keeping the Republican Party together, to be totally honest. Listen, whenever I go vote primary time, I'm seeing a sea full of gray hair. Not just my gray hair where I got a little bit of black still. I'm talking about elderly people voting. And you can't live forever. So these people have to be able to pass the torch to us. The younger people, we got to be the ones to take their space. And if we're not interested in politics, and if the younger people are being dominated by the left and their imagery and their propaganda, how will we ever be able to get them on our side? Listen, the things they see nowadays on television are crazy. If I saw that as a kid, it'd be that the things we consume now, the content we consume now as children, as young people, is crazy. And a lot of it is leftist oriented. An example is all these different streaming platforms with their own kind of crazy rules. You got Netflix where you might be watching the show. It's pretty good. And all of a sudden, here's a gay character. Every single show is that way. So you think, oh, two men kissing is normal. So then that becomes part of your psyche as a child. That's why so many Gen Z now identify as LGBT, is because they've been groomed through what they consume. It's worse than rap music in the 90s, but that's a different story. And I digress. Let's keep on rolling here. Thank you to, and the point about that was, you have to get to the younger audience. You have to reach out to them where they are. Meet them where they are. You want them to be perfect and to be conservative and to live a certain way and do certain things. What you doing to praise your God and go to your church, you're a fool. If you're talking about votes now, you're talking about purity tests and things of this nature, then congratulations. You're able to determine that Amber Rose is an impure person. But at the end of the day, are you trying to win elections or not? Are you concerned about elections or trying to win purity tests? I don't really care nothing about the purity tests, to be totally honest. As long as you're not a criminal in the penitentiary making big rocks or little rocks, as long as you're free and can vote, come on, let's do it. I don't have to like you, love you, or anything like that for you to vote for the same guy that I vote for. It's simple. If I'm a Christian and you're a Muslim and you're non-religious, okay, I don't agree with your particular choice. So what? Let's go vote for the same guy because we all live here at the end of the day. You can hate it or love it. Amber Rose, an American citizen. I'm an American citizen. We're all American citizens if you're able to vote here in this country. So you got to reach out to these people because when you get to be older, they're going to be in this country with you and they're going to be able to vote. And if we don't have any kind of outreach, they'll be the ones that defeat us at the ballot box every single time, right? So it's foolish to forsake your own country because of your religious beliefs, which can change. Anyway, I'm getting triggered. Shout out to Gypsy Queen who says, watch Arena 1984. And also watch, I can't see what that says. What's that? Black Mirror? Oh yeah, Black Mirror was a good show for sure. On, what was it, Netflix or thing? Yeah. But also Black Mirror, same thing. They had a LGBT episode. Okay, this black dude fornicating with his homie in a video game, which was gross. But anyway, that gets Mike from Queens who says, hey, ABL, Vance is a solid pick. Hope all is well. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. That gets to Matthew Richardson who says, hey, ABL. Matthew says, Lincoln was gay. See law capping Republicans. That gets to Boomhauer. Shout out to Boomhauer. Boomhauer says, been a long time. This is one of your best streams. You have been on point all night. We have to come together for Trump. The left is behind this. 100. Absolutely, man. Right on point. Right on point. That gets to Andrew Lapines who says, Vivek is a puppet that was supposed to replace Trump. And thank you to Laura Catherine for your Cup of Joe donation. I really, really appreciate you. That's a good angle. So Andrew's saying that they were supposed to delete Trump and then at the RNC roll out Vivek as the nominee rather than Trump. And then Vivek comes and has JD Vance as the vice president. That's an interesting way to look at it. I mean, I'm not going to say I agree, but it's interesting to look at it that way, that they kind of messed the plans up. Yeah. And at the end of the day, they got the guy in there who they probably really didn't want. Hold on. Let me just make sure I have a stream up. We'll get to the calls in a minute if I'm able to.
Of our rights.
Okay. This is going to be in the background. And if my man comes on, JD Vance, I may skip to that perhaps. All right. So let's get to a few calls here. The number to call 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And there's also an email in the description. You can get in that way. Be right here, bottom left hand corner of the screen. And if it doesn't work right, don't blame me. Blame the white man because you know it ain't my fault. Let's keep on rocking here. Let me get my sound together. Because a lot of times it echoes when you're trying to call. We don't got time for that. All right. RP to the headphone users. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it together. Okay, we should be good now. Let's go ahead and get rocking. 781, you're the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Anthony. This is Peter. How you doing tonight?
Oh, well, how about yourself?
I'm doing all right. I just wanted to talk about something that I'm kind of... So, the Secret Service, right? It seems pretty obvious that they kind of dropped a little bit of a ball here. And I'm not seeing a lot of calls to, like, investigate the head of the Secret Service and her pretty weak excuses for why they wasn't, cover where they needed to be and why they didn't react when they were supposed to and how come the snipers were told to not shoot that guy and then the sniper that shot him got fired for shooting. Like a lot of sketchy things. No one seems to be questioning her, like the head of the Secret Service, who appointed her. Why are they... why does it seem like the media is not touching that, and you're the only person who I've been seeing who mentioned something about, hey, something doesn't seem right here. Do you think that this is going to be something that in the future will be a big story, or what do you see coming from this? Do you see anything?
I don't know what they're gonna do, really. I don't know why the media is covering it the way they're covering it. But this is why the media at this point is no longer relevant, because we know that they don't cover stories properly. This is why it comes down to us just calling things how we see it rather than calling things how we're told to call it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just so crystal clear that there's definitely something fishy going on here. I mean, like a week before this assassination attempt, Trump's saying he's going to release the JFK docs, which kind of shows the CIA was in on this. Then you got this BlackRock commercial with the guy who's the shooter in it. So it's like, you know, BlackRock, CIA, Deep State, they're all kind of in cahoots. So it's just like, I don't get how everybody isn't aware of this. I wish that this was mainstream news. Like, hey, there's some collusion going on behind the scenes. Let's investigate this. Let's bring this forward. Let's get some people making big rocks into little rocks for the rest of their lives, you know, for this kind of stuff. And you know, private media, or I guess how you would call, like, you know, people like you, like journalists, like independent journalists, are the only ones talking about it. And it blows my mind because it's such a huge thing that seems like it's a big story that needs to be addressed. I don't know.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm looking forward to other calls. Thanks for your time, Anthony. I hope you have a good night.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great calls. Keep on rocking and rolling. Let's go to 773 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL. This is Zen from Milwaukee.
All righty. What's going on?
Not too much. I was just calling in. I was just going to say great show. I just got back. I was at the RNC, like, perimeter area for the last 2 or 3 days. So just wanted to give everybody an update. I know I have by the way, I know people know I'm 773. That's a Chicago number, but I went to college in Chicago 20 plus years ago, and I just kept the number. So anybody in the comment section, just let you know I do live in Milwaukee. But yeah, so just to give you a little update on the situation in Milwaukee, I know people were worried about the security and everything. So it does feel pretty secure in Milwaukee. They have like 2 perimeters. So basically there's a perimeter that you can walk in, which is still just like an area outside of the convention area where most of the people are doing their thing. And then in order to get the inner perimeter, you have to have all the credentials and whatnot. But to drive in that outer perimeter, they do like a big check. They check like the vehicles for bombs and whatnot. But Trump's staying in a hotel that's a little bit outside of the perimeter. That actually does not seem super secure, but that's where presidents have stayed in the past. So I'm sure they got their own kind of protocol with that. But I think I read in an article today there's over 4,000 security police from all over. We're talking Secret Service, Coast Guard, sheriffs from everywhere. There was mounted patrol. I asked them where they were from. Some were from Kentucky. So it actually feels like there's almost more police here than there are, you know, people for the convention. So, and yeah, security seems very tight here. So I just wanted to give an update on that. Did anybody have any questions about like what's going on in Milwaukee that you know of, or?
I don't know. I mean, so how is the general, do you see protesters? Do you see any kind of like violent element that could happen? Like how is that going?
That's a great question. So like I'm familiar with like the vibe of Milwaukee, and so there are a lot of people from out of town. There was like initially, I think on the first day, an organized protest in March. But right now, like just outside this kind of main little entranceway for people walking into the convention, there's little protest. It's quite pathetic. It's probably, from what I saw today, maybe 20 people. And there's a few crazy people. They're obviously insane, walking around like that you don't always see, screaming at the police or screaming, you know, about they need to have their abortions all the time whenever they want. But that's about it. And then I didn't see any paid protesters. I didn't see any of those, like, the glowing, what do they call it, Patriot Front. I was glad those guys didn't show up. It's actually pretty chill in Milwaukee. Like, Milwaukee's got a good vibe, and the people here, I mean, it's funny because most of the people that live here aren't even really concerned about what's going on. You know, they're just living their lives. They're going to work. Like, Milwaukee's a working city with normal people. Cops are cool. I was talking with the cops and everything, and Secret Service. Everybody's super nice. I think with what happened the other day with Trump, people are kind of like, you know, everybody realized, like, that put everybody in check. Like, no, we're not going to play the protest, I hate you game.
Right.
That's not going anywhere. So I got interviewed by the New York Post today, actually, and I was just telling everybody, like, you know, we need unity. We need unity in this country. There's no reason for division. So I think that's the vibe that we got today.
Right on, man. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Thank you. I just want to give an update. Great show, and I appreciate it. And what up to everybody in the audience?
All right, now, appreciate you. All right, shout out to the call. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. Let's go to, where we going? 250, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, ABL. This is old Joe here. How are things?
Oh, well, about yourself?
Not bad. So I've been watching your coverage of these events, and I wanted to ask you a question. I remember way back in the days before the beard and watching the wooden flag unboxing, and I thought back to your coverage of the events recently, the Biden news conference and the assassination attempt. And I think there were 10,000 people watching that night where you were covering the assassination. So what I feel like is that you've come a long ways, my friend, and I'm wondering what you would say to the young ABL if you had a chance. The guy before the beard, what would you say to him if you had some advice?
My advice would be just to always stay true to yourself. I mean, I've been like that for a long time, but sometimes you kind of question yourself because you see certain things working for certain people, may get them more success, but you know it's not really real. So just always stay true to yourself, and always look for the truth. Don't react too quickly. Think about what you're doing before you do it. That'd be what I always say to myself. And definitely for that time when I was kind of just getting my footing, I would definitely just reinforce that.
Well, thank you for that answer, ABL, and I'm going to be very fast because I know some of us are hoping for a special guest caller here. So what I'd like to say is that this rhetoric you're seeing from the leftist media, Van Jones calling the vice president a virus. I mean, the guy that really stuck out for me was the guy that was being interviewed. He was with his wife, the old guy with the big sun hat on, and saying that Trump had faked his assassination attempt. And, you know, when a man has worked in his life, even old men, you can usually see it on their body style. And that guy he has the flavor of an academic. I know I'm generalizing, but he just looks like a guy who hasn't put in a lot of work in his lifetime. And there's a chance that people like that are up in front of your kids, you know, teaching them stuff. So what I think you guys should do is don't let off the gas. When they say take the temperature down, what they're trying to rob from you is the passion that was ignited when everybody saw that picture of Donald Trump with his fist in the air and the flag behind. That's a moment. That's a moment in history, and it ignites passion. I'm talking not about violence or anger. I'm talking about political passion. It's time to turn that up, not down. Don't listen to these people. You guys have a moment here where you can take over and take your country back. Thank you very much, ABL, for taking my call.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate it. All right. Shout out to my man for the call. Great call. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. All righty. Let's go to, who am I speaking to? 757.
Peace, ABL. It's Michael Critchlow from Newport News, VA.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Nothing much, man. I appreciate you taking my call. The reason I called in tonight is I was curious to know if you saw Alex Jones on Candace Owens Today podcast.
I did not.
Okay. Yeah, it was something real interesting that Alex Jones had mentioned. Probably good to take a look at. But apparently, Alex is trying to connect the dots between that recent Iran news that came out about the assassination attempt against Trump. Did you see that news?
Yeah, I saw that.
Alex Jones is trying to say that that was all set up. Like, they were supposed to kill him, and if they killed him, the government was going to blame Iran to set off World War III. What do you think about that?
I mean, that's a possibility, but I don't know, because they got that guy. It's like, okay, you got this random white kid from that town, so how would you link that back to Iran?
Yeah, true. Yeah, I think he was trying to make some kind of, like a 9/11 connection, how they did with 9/11, going into war after the towers, after they hit the towers, kind of deal. But I don't know. I thought it was interesting, man. But the real reason I called is because I'm sitting next to my best friend. She's from Atlanta, actually Georgia. She used to live here in Virginia. She moved down to Georgia. She came back. And you know what she told me, ABL? She had the audacity to tell me that she didn't know that Joe Biden said that if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, right? So she told me that, and I don't believe her. She's lying, right?
I mean, look, I ain't gonna say she's lying, but it's possible, because not everybody's really plugged into TV like that or plugged into the political stuff. So it's possible. But regardless of what, now she has the information that can't deny it no more. So next time you say it, it's like, look, no, we already had the conversation. You see it right here on the TV, so now you know what it is.
Exactly. Listen. I put her on to ABL Live. She loves your show. She absolutely loves the show. We watching you right now, my man. You know what she had the audacity to say to me, and I'm gonna hang up. And I need for you to correct her, because she doesn't like Candace Owens. All right. Okay. So she's one of them people. She got Candace Owens issues. She loves ABL, and she didn't know that Joe Biden said that if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. So ABL, I appreciate you taking my call. If you don't mind correcting her after I hang up, I'd appreciate it. All right.
I got you, man.
All right, boss. Peace.
All right, peace. Yeah, definitely. Joe Biden most certainly said that if you don't know whether you voting for me or for Trump, then you ain't black. Matter of fact, can we play it right quick before we get to the next call? Okay, hold on. What was that? Biden, Breakfast Club, vote for me, you ain't black. Oh, there you go. Look at that. I'm always able to find that clip pretty quickly. Shout out to Washington Post for keeping that in a very convenient place.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
There it is right there. This is 2020 during the campaign. That Charlamagne the God, Breakfast Club, when they were doing all the Zoom calls in the basement stuff. You're saying it right there. Questioning his blackness. Yo, if you can't even figure that out, man, you're not even black. But you know what? You know why he did that? It's because he was emboldened by probably the black folks in his administration. Speaking about Joe Biden, that is. 248, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yes, this is Donald J. Skywalker, but my real name's Rich. I was just calling because I said something earlier about that thing about the car being parked for the shooter.
Yeah.
Like I've seen it in a couple places where it was supposedly, like, it just seems unbelievable, but like 10 miles away. And then I keep seeing this stuff about, like, was there a ladder on the building? Did he bring a ladder? And it seems like the media is just trying to, like, almost create conspiracy theories. And I was wondering, like, maybe if you could look into it yourself. I've tried everything. And, like, the only thing I can find is wherever it talks about the car, it says it was outside of the venue somewhere. And it just seems really, I'm not trying to be conspiratorial, but it's like, it just seems really weird. And I don't know whether it's just me or are you kind of feeling the same thing, like the media is trying to create a bunch of rabbit holes or something?
Well, I don't trust the media at all anyway. So that's my default. Yeah, that's my default for anything. So I'll take what they say with a grain of salt.
I mean, and then you got all these people describing, like, when they're describing this kid, like, it's almost like you're going back to 1963 and they're describing Lee Harvey Oswald. It's like the exact same. It's almost like identical. It's eerie.
Yeah.
And I just, it makes me question, what happened. I mean, I kind of lean towards this kid, having done it himself, but at the same time, he tried out for his gun club and he was tossed the first day because he basically hit the wrong side of the range that they were at for the school gun club. And it's just like, it's just the same type of stuff. And it just seems really weird. And I don't know whether I'm being like crazy about it or whether it's legitimate, like something seems off about all this to me.
Well, of course, yeah, there's definitely a lot of questions that need to be answered that have not been answered yet.
Yeah, I mean, like, have you seen the Pac-Man thing about the security? Basically, it looks like a giant Pac-Man because, like, the mouth of the Pac-Man.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't cover the one area, and it's right at the building, and it's like, dude.
I saw that. I was like, what?
Like,
I was like, what? I was completely confused because that building was the most obvious place you got to secure.
Oh, that and the water tower.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the two things that, like, and then with that, there's, supposedly, like, I watch Redacted sometimes, and they're really going down the rabbit hole. And so that's where some of this is coming from. But at the same time, I have, like, the ladder thing, I've seen where he's bought a ladder, and then I've heard it, the latest I heard the thing about the ladder actually being part of the building was today. So it's like, who's reporting what right? And this is from, like, a mainstream news outlet. And it's like they keep contradicting themselves. And it's just like, I just don't know what to make of it. It's almost like they're trying to create this, like, situation where everybody's questioning everything. But right. I just don't really understand why they do that, because it just makes people trust them less. You know what I mean? It just something doesn't seem right about all of it. I don't know. And then you got the Iran thing on top of it, and it's just like they're creating rabbit holes on purpose.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to, I know it probably sounds to you. I'm not trying to sound that way. I'm just voicing. I mean, if I could find somebody that could actually, like, I have tried to search everywhere on the internet,
right,
for where this car was.
I'm gonna cut you off, but I gotta keep on moving here. So thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
All right.
All right. Shout out to the caller. So we do have JD Vance coming up here. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Usha Vance.
Good evening. Good evening. When I was asked to introduce my husband, JD Vance, to all of you, I was at a loss. What could I say that hasn't already been said before? After all, the man was already the subject of a Ron Howard movie. JD has shared much of his life through his own eloquent words. In his book, Hillbilly Elegy, during his Senate campaign, and now as a sitting United States Senator. It occurred to me that there was only one thing to do: to explain from the heart why I love and admire JD and stand here beside him today, and why he will make a great Vice President of the United States. I met JD in law school when he was fresh out of Ohio State, which he attended with the support of the GI Bill. We were friends first because, who wouldn't want to be friends with JD? He was then, as now, the most interesting person I knew. A working class guy who had overcome childhood traumas that I could barely fathom to end up at Yale Law School. A tough Marine who had served in Iraq, but whose idea of a good time was playing with puppies and watching the movie Babe. The most determined person I knew with one overriding ambition: to become a husband and a father, and to build the kind of tight-knit family that he had longed for as a child. My background is very different from JD's. I grew up in San Diego, in a middle-class community. With two loving parents, both immigrants from India, and a wonderful sister. That JD and I could meet at all, let alone fall in love and marry, is a testament to this great country. It is also a testament to JD, and it tells you something about who he is. When JD met me, he approached our differences with curiosity and enthusiasm. He wanted to know everything about me, where I came from, what my life had been like. Although he's a meat and potatoes kind of guy, he adapted to my vegetarian diet and learned to cook food from my mother, Indian food. Before I knew it, he had become an integral part of my family, a person I could not imagine living without. The JD I knew then is the same JD you see today, except for that beard. And his goals in this new role are the same that he has pursued for our family: to keep people safe, to create opportunities, to build a better life, and to solve problems with an open mind. It's safe to say that neither JD nor I expected to find ourselves in this position, but it's hard to imagine a more powerful example of the American dream. A boy from Middletown, Ohio. Raised by his grandmother through tough times, chosen to help lead our country through some of its greatest challenges. I am grateful to all of you for the trust you have placed in him and in our family. And with that, it is my great privilege to introduce my husband and the next Vice President of the United States, JD Vance.
All right, here we go. JD Vance coming out. Next Vice President. A lovely wife, if I do say so myself.
From Ohio. Why don't we liberate these United States? We're the ones who need it worst. Let the rest of the world help us for change, and let's rebuild.
If he's vegan, he'll grow out of it. I used to do that when I was younger. I did that in my late 20s. Not no more. I had chicken today. It was amazing. Baked chicken thighs with the bone in. I don't want to get a copyright for this music, so I'm kind of keeping the sound down right now until he starts talking. So pardon the lack of sound, but we're going to get right back into it in a minute.
Wow.
Yeah. First of all, aren't I a lucky guy? Isn't she lovely and amazing? Greetings, Milwaukee. my fellow Americans and my fellow Republicans, my name is JD Vance from the great state of Ohio. Tonight, O-H-I-O, O-H-I-O. You guys, we're gonna chill with the Ohio love. We gotta win Michigan too here, so. My friends, tonight is a night of hope. A celebration of what America once was, and with God's grace, what it will soon be again. And it is a reminder of the sacred duty we have to preserve the American experiment, to choose a new path for our children and grandchildren. But as we meet tonight, we cannot forget that this evening could have been so much different. Instead of a day of celebration, this could have been a day of heartache and mourning. For the last 8 years, President Trump has given everything he has to fight for the people of our country. He didn't need politics, but the country needed him. Did it? Now, prior to running for president, he was one of the most successful businessmen in the world. He had everything anyone could ever want in a life. And yet, instead of choosing the easy path, he chose to endure abuse, slander, and persecution. And he did it because he loves this country. I want all Americans to go and watch the video of a would-be assassin coming a quarter of an inch from taking his life. Consider the lies they told you about Donald Trump, and then look at that photo of him, defiant, fist in the air, when Donald Trump rose to his feet in that Pennsylvania field. All of America stood with him. And what did he call us to do for our country? To fight for America. Even in his most perilous moment, we were on his mind. His instinct was for us, for our country, to call us to something higher, to something greater, to once again be citizens who ask what our country needs of us. Now consider what they said. They said he was a tyrant. They said he must be stopped at all costs. But how did he respond? He called for national unity, for national calm, literally right after an assassin nearly took his life. He remembered the victims of the terrible attack, especially the brave Corey Compratori, who gave his life to protect his family. God bless him. And then President Trump flew to Milwaukee and got back to work. Now that's the man I've gotten to know personally over the last few years. He is tough, and he is, but he cares about people. He can stand defiant against an assassin one moment and call for national healing the next. He is a beloved father and grandfather, and of course, a once-in-a-generation business leader. He's the man who is feared by America's adversaries, but 2 nights ago, and I'll share a moment, said goodnight to his 2 boys, told them he loved them, and made sure to give each of them a kiss on the cheek. And I will say, Don and Eric squirmed the same way my 4-year-old does when his daddy tries to give him a kiss on the cheek. Sorry, guys. He is all those things, but tonight we celebrate he is our once and future President of the United States of America. Now, I want to respond to his call for unity myself. We have a big tent in this party on everything from national security to economic policy. But my message to you, my fellow Republicans, is we love this country and we are united to win. Right. Now, I think our disagreements actually make us stronger. That's what I've learned in my time in the United States Senate, where sometimes I persuade my colleagues and sometimes they persuade me. And my message to my fellow Americans, those watching from across the country, is shouldn't we be governed by a party that is unafraid to debate ideas and come to the best solution? That's the Republican Party of the next 4 years, united in our love for this country and committed to free speech and the open exchange of ideas. And so tonight, Mr. Chairman, I stand here humbled, and I'm overwhelmed with gratitude to say I officially accept your nomination to be Vice President of the United States of America. Now, never in my wildest imagination could I have believed that I'd be standing here tonight. I grew up in Middletown, Ohio. A small town where people spoke their minds, built with their hands, and loved their God, their family, their community, and their country with their whole hearts. But it was also a place that had been cast aside and forgotten by America's ruling class in Washington. When I was in the 4th grade, a career politician by the name of Joe Biden supported NAFTA, a bad trade deal that sent countless good jobs to Mexico. When I was a sophomore in high school, that same career politician named Joe Biden gave China a sweetheart trade deal that destroyed even more good American middle-class manufacturing jobs. When I was a senior in high school, that same Joe Biden supported the disastrous invasion of Iraq, and at each step of the way, in small towns like mine in Ohio or next door in Pennsylvania or Michigan, in states all across our country, jobs were sent overseas and our children were sent to war. And I agree. And somehow, a real estate developer from New York City by the name of Donald J. Trump was right on all of these issues while Biden was wrong. President Trump knew even then that we needed leaders who would put America first. Now, thanks to these policies that Biden and other out-of-touch politicians in Washington gave us, our country was flooded with cheap Chinese goods, with cheap foreign labor, and in the decades to come, deadly Chinese fentanyl. Joe Biden screwed up, and my community paid the price. Now, I was lucky. despite the closing factories and the growing addiction in towns like mine. In my life, I had a guardian angel by my side. She was an old woman who could barely walk, but she was tough as nails. I called her Mamaw, the name we hillbillies gave to our grandmothers.
My Mamaw.
Mamaw raised me as Mamaw raised me as my mother struggled with addiction. Mamaw was in so many ways a woman of contradiction. She loved the Lord, ladies and gentlemen. She was a woman of very deep Christian faith. But she also loved the F word.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. She could make a sailor blush. Now, she once told me, when she found out that I was spending too much time with a local kid who was known for dealing drugs, that if I ever hung out with that kid again, she would run him over with her car. That's true. And she said, JD, no one will ever find out about it.
The chatting, Mamaw.
Now, thanks to that Mamaw, things worked out for me. After 9/11, I did what thousands of other young men my age did in that time of soaring patriotism and love of country. I enlisted in the United States Marines. Semper Fi to my fellow Marines. Now, I left the Marines after 4 years and went to the Ohio State University. I'm sorry, Michigan. I had to get that in there. Come on. We've had enough political violence. Let's...
That was good.
Now, after Ohio State, I went to Yale Law School, where I met my beautiful wife. And then I started businesses to create jobs in the kind of places that I grew up in. Now, my work taught me that there is still so much talent and grit in the American heartland. There really is. But for these places to thrive, my friends, we need a leader who fights for the people who built this country. We need a leader who's not in the pocket of big business, but answers to the working man, union and non-union alike. A leader who won't sell out to multinational corporations, but will stand up for American companies and American industry. A leader who rejects Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's Green New scam and fights to bring back our great American factories. We need President Donald J. Trump. Some people tell me I've lived the American dream, and of course they're right, and I'm so grateful for it. But the American dream that always counted most was not starting a business or becoming a senator or even being here with you fine people, though it's pretty awesome. My most important American dream was becoming a good husband and a good dad, of being able to give... Thank you. I wanted to give my kids the things that I didn't have when I was growing up, and that's the accomplishment that I'm proudest of. That tonight, I'm joined by my beautiful wife, Usha, an incredible lawyer and a better mom, and our three beautiful kids, Ewan, who's 7, Vivek, who's 4, and Mirabelle, who's 2. Now, they're back at the hotel, and kids, if you're watching, Daddy loves you very much, but get your butts in bed. It's 10 o'clock. But my friends, things did not work out well for a lot of kids I grew up with. Every now and then, I will get a call from a relative back home who asks, "Did you know so-and-so?" And I'll remember a face from years ago, and then I'll hear, "They died of an overdose." As always, America's ruling class wrote the checks. Communities like mine paid the price. For decades, that divide between the few with their power and comfort in Washington and the rest of us only widened. From Iraq to Afghanistan, from the financial crisis to the Great Recession, from open borders to stagnating wages, the people who govern this country have failed and failed again. That is, of course, until a guy named Donald J. Trump came along. President Trump represents America's last best hope to restore what, if lost, may never be found again. A country where a working-class boy born far from the halls of power can stand on this stage as the next vice president of the United States of America. But my fellow Americans here in this stage and watching at home, this moment is not about me. It's about all of us, and it's about who we're fighting for. It's about the auto worker in Michigan wondering why out-of-touch politicians are destroying their jobs. It's about the factory worker in Wisconsin who makes things with their hands and is proud of American craftsmanship. It's about the energy worker in Pennsylvania and Ohio who doesn't understand why Joe Biden is willing to buy energy from tin-pot dictators across the world when he could buy it from his own citizens right here in our own country. You guys are a great crowd. Wow. And And it's about, our movement is about single moms like mine who struggled with money and addiction but never gave up. And I'm proud to say that tonight my mom is here, 10 years clean and sober. I love you, Mom.
Shout out to Mom being sober. Shout out to her. JD's mom.
And you know, Mom, I was thinking, it'll be 10 years officially in January of 2025. And if President Trump's okay with it, let's have the celebration in the White House.
There we go.
And our movement, ladies and gentlemen, it's about grandparents all across this country who are living on Social Security and raising grandchildren they didn't expect to raise. And while we're on the topic of grandparents, let me tell you another Mamaw story. Now, my Mamaw died shortly before I left for Iraq in 2005. And when we went through her things, we found 19 loaded handguns. They were...
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Grandma was ready.
Now, the thing is, they were stashed all over her house, under her bed, in her closet, in the silverware drawer. And we wondered what was going on, and it occurred to us that towards the end of her life, Mamaw couldn't get around so well. And so this frail old woman made sure that no matter where she was within arm's length of whatever she needed to protect her family. That's who we fight for. That's American spirit.
That's right. Shout out Mamaw. Couch gun, shower gun, bed gun, kitchen gun.
Now, Joe Biden has been a politician in Washington for longer than I've been alive, 39 years old. Kamala Harris is not much further behind. For half a century, he's been the champion of every major policy initiative to make America weaker and poorer. And in 4 short years, Donald Trump reversed decades of betrayals inflicted by Joe Biden and the rest of the corrupt Washington insiders. He created the greatest economy in history for workers. Really was amazing. There's this chart that shows worker wages, and they stagnated for pretty much my entire life until President Donald J. Trump came along. Workers' wages went through the roof. And just imagine what he's going to do when we give him 4 more years.
Yes, sir.
Months ago, I heard some young family member observe that their parents' generation, the baby boomers, could afford to buy a home when they first entered the workforce. But I don't know, this person observed, if I'll ever be able to afford a home. The absurd cost of housing is the result of so many failures, and it reveals so much about what's broken in Washington. I can tell you exactly how it happened. Wall Street barons crashed the economy, and American builders went out of business. As tradesmen scrambled for jobs, houses stopped being built. The lack of good jobs, of course, led to stagnant wages. And then the Democrats flooded this country with millions of illegal aliens. So citizens had to compete with people who shouldn't even be here for precious housing. Joe Biden's inflation crisis, my friends, is really an affordability crisis. And many of the people that I grew up with can't afford to pay more for groceries, more for gas, more for rent, and that's exactly what Joe Biden's economy has given them. So prices soared, dreams were shattered, and China and the cartels sent fentanyl across the border, adding addiction to the heartache. But ladies and gentlemen, that is not the end of our story. We've heard about villains and their victims. I've talked a lot about that, but let me tell you about the future. President Trump's vision is so simple and yet so powerful. We're done, ladies and gentlemen, catering to Wall Street. We'll commit to the working man. We're done importing foreign labor. We're going to fight for American citizens and their good jobs and their good wages. We're done buying energy from countries that hate us. We're going to get it right here from American workers in Pennsylvania and Ohio and across the country. We're done sacrificing supply chains to unlimited global trade, and we're going to stamp more and more products with that beautiful label, Made in the USA. We're going to build factories again, put people to work making real products for American families made with the hands of American workers. Together, we will protect the wages of American workers and stop the Chinese Communist Party from building their middle class on the backs of American citizens. Together, we will make sure our allies share in the burden of securing world peace. No more free rides for nations that betray the generosity of the American taxpayer. Together, we will send our kids to war only when we must. But as President Trump showed with the elimination of ISIS and so much more, when we punch, we're going to punch hard. Together, we will put the citizens of America first, whatever the color of their skin. We will, in short, make America great again. You know, one of the things that you hear people say sometimes is that America is an idea. And to be clear, America was indeed founded on brilliant ideas like the rule of law and religious liberty, things written into the fabric of our Constitution and our nation. But America is not just an idea. It is a group of people with a shared history and a common future. It is, in short, a nation. Now, it is part of that tradition, of course, that we welcome newcomers. But when we allow newcomers into our American family, we allow them on our terms. That's the way we preserve the continuity of this project from 250 years past to hopefully 250 years in the future. And let me illustrate this with a story, if I may. I'm, of course, married to the daughter of South Asian immigrants to this country. Incredible people. People who genuinely have enriched this country in so many ways. And, of course, I'm biased because I love my wife and her family, but it's true. Now, when I proposed to my wife, we were in law school, and I said, honey, I come with $120,000 worth of law school debt and a cemetery plot on a mountainside in eastern Kentucky. And I guess standing here tonight, it's just gotten weirder and weirder, honey. But that's what she was getting. Now, that cemetery plot in eastern Kentucky is near my family's ancestral home. And like a lot of people, we came from the mountains of Appalachia into the factories of Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin.
Shout out Appalachia. Best place in the USA.
Now that's Kentucky coal country, one of the 10 Now, it's one of the 10 poorest counties in the entire United States of America. They are very hardworking people, and they're very good people. They're the kind of people who would give you the shirt off their back even if they can't afford enough to eat. And our media calls them privileged and looks down on them. But they love this country not only because it's a good idea, but because in their bones they know that this is their home. And it will be their children's home, and they would die fighting to protect it. That is the source of America's greatness. As a United States Senator, I get to represent millions of people in the great state of Ohio with similar stories, and it is the great honor of my life. Now, in that cemetery, there are people who were born around the time of the Civil War. And if, as I hope, my wife and I are eventually laid to rest there, and our kids follow us, there will be 7 generations just in that small mountain cemetery plot in eastern Kentucky. 7 generations of people who have fought for this country, who have built this country, who have made things in this country, and who would fight and die to protect this country if they were asked to. Now that's not just an idea, my friends. That's not just a set of principles. Even though the ideas and the principles are great, that is a homeland. That is our homeland. People will not fight for abstractions, but they will fight for their home. And if this movement of ours is going to succeed, and if this country is going to thrive, our leaders have to remember that America is a nation and its citizens deserve leaders who put its interests first. Now, we won't agree on every issue, of course, not even in this room. We may disagree from time to time about how best to reinvigorate American industry and renew American family. That's fine. In fact, it's more than fine. It's good. But never forget that the reason why this united Republican Party exists, why we do this, why we care about those great ideas and that great history, is that we want this nation to thrive for centuries to come. Now, eventually in that mountain cemetery, my children will lay me to rest. And when they do, I would like them to know that thanks to the work of this Republican Party, the United States of America is as strong and as proud and as great as ever. That is who we serve, my friends. That is who we fight for. And the only thing that we need to do right now, the most important thing that we can do for those people, for that American nation that we all love, is to re-elect Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. Mr. President, I will never take for granted the trust you have put in me. And what an honor it is to help achieve the extraordinary vision that you have for this country. Now, I pledge to every American, no matter your party, I will give you everything I have to serve you and to make this country a place where every dream you have for yourself, your family, and your country will be possible once again. And I promise you one more thing. To the people of Middletown, Ohio, and all the forgotten communities in Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Ohio, and every corner of our nation, I promise you this. I will be a vice president who never forgets where he came from. And every single day for the next 4 years, when I walk into that White House to help President Trump, I will be doing it for you, for your family, for your future, and for this great country. Thank you. God bless all of you, and God bless our great country.
There we have it. That is our man, JD Vance, the VP pick for Donald Trump, who, in my humble opinion, will be the vice president come this election in November. So there we have it. Shout out to him. All right, I'm over my time a little bit. I might take a couple calls, but I have to go because I can't be up all night. You guys are keeping you up past my bedtime. 904 online. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's up, ABL? My name is Nikki from St. Augustine, Florida. Let me give you, hold on 1 second. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. 2 questions and a comment, and I'm out. And I hope more callers follow through with this rapid fire strategy. Number 1, who else do you want to see representing the younger generation in addition to Amber Rose? Number 2, what is your opinion on the TikTok kids wishing Trump got shot? And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, don't forget to rate, comment, share, and subscribe. Peace.
Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Okay, now, who do I want to see to come out and represent the Republican Party or just talk about being conservative aside from Amber Rose? Whoever wants to be different, whoever wants to not be stuck in the muck and the mire of the Democrat Party and all that kind of stuff they got to go through. If you want to be different, if you want to change, come on. Come over here. And as far as the TikTok kids wishing they hope Trump got deleted, I mean, hey, if they get Homeland Security knock on the door, it is what it is. Ain't too much you could do about that. 978, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Elizabeth, that's all I can say. I've followed you for 2 years now. You're cognizant. You're fabulously articulate. You're right on everything. And I want to tell you, as an experienced person in that business, the fact that they did not secure a perimeter out there beyond AK-47 or M16, that's just lame. And the fact that Cheatle thought it was too steep a slope to put their agents on is just ridiculous. So I can only say that about that. Keep the faith. I believe in it's almost, may I say, it's Sirhan. I think this young man was recruited. I don't know if you've seen the BlackRock commercial that was out there in 2023. It's bizarre. Trust no one. It's all a manipulation, and we'll get to the facts somehow, but don't trust the media to find it for you, or the FBI or Secret Service. We have to keep our independent investigators on the mark. That's all I can say. Win or buy.
Thank you for the call. All right, good call. Got some intel, I suppose. Little intel there. Let's go to 773. You don't know how much we could do.
ABL, it's your retired Chicago police officer friend. Thanks for squeezing my call in, ABL. And I just want to sing your praises. You showed that you could, you could roll with the punches when the different things happen here. I think you're right on the money with what you're doing, and I also think that that Trump is right on the money with what he's doing. Trump realizes, even though it should have been, his 8 years as president did not come in a row. So these last 4 years, he is setting it up also for the Republican Party to go forward with Vivek and his choice here for vice president. So I think it's a good thing that that he's trying to set up the party for later in the future, and what he's been doing right now. So I think it's a great thing, and hopefully it works out for us, regardless of their cheating. And it's not just cheating; it's really a coup when you try to take someone's life, because we know what that's about. I don't think it's a coincidence that the now deceased murderer assassin has been found to have connections with other parties, and excuse me, because I'm not thinking straight. Who does he have connections with? ABL. The guy that was
JD Vance
tried to assassinate.
You talking about Trump?
Go ahead, ABL.
You talking about that guy that was on the roof?
Yeah, the guy that was on the roof.
Yeah, the 20-year-old.
Yeah, it just showed the connections with oh God, they just came out with that thing here. I apologize, ABL, but his connections with all these other nefarious nefarious things.
BlackRock commercial.
BlackRock, thank you very much. Yeah, things like that. So we know it doesn't stand alone. This was their last shot, and hopefully, Trump gets in there, and we have a better time in our future, So, okay, y'all. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All righty. That will be a wrap for me. I'm up way too late, way past a bad time. I got to go to bed. Shout out to you guys. I'll be here tomorrow streaming because Trump's going to speak at the RNC. So I will cover Trump's speech at the RNC tomorrow. So that's Thursday night, July 18th, 2024, tomorrow night. I'm not sure what time he's going to stream. What time he's going to speak. So I'll be here. I'll just be kind of waiting on him. Maybe closer to the time, I'll know when he's going to go on. Like today, I found out about JD Vance talking during the daytime. I found out it was going to be about 10:30. So I'll figure it out tomorrow. And I think that'll be a wrap for me. Shout out to you guys. I'll be back, of course, tomorrow, and I'll be back on Saturday. And I'm here pretty much every day putting out pre-recorded content. But that will be it for now. It'll be sometime. What time will I go live? Maybe 8 or 9. It depends on whenever Trump's going to go. So if it comes out that Trump's going to speak at, let's say, 10 o'clock, I'll probably be here at 9:30. You see what I'm saying? So that's still to be determined. I'll probably put up a thumbnail and whatnot with the time so you can anticipate when I'm going to go live. I'll probably put it up sometime tomorrow afternoon when I figure out more information. But that'll be a wrap for me. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for the super chats. I appreciate y'all for the calls. Shout out to Laura Catherine for your cup of joy emoji if I didn't get you on that one. And shout out to everybody that's donating through PayPal, Cash App, whatever. I appreciate it. Shout out to you guys who are watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you do, because without you, there is no me. This is also an audio streaming podcast you're listening to right now. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming podcast, whether it be Google Play, Apple iTunes, Spotify, etc. Link for that will be in the description, or just search ABL Live in your favorite audio streaming platform. I should pop right on up. So that'll be a wrap for me. I will see you guys tomorrow and, of course, on Saturday again as well. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.